Hello and welcome back to another Big Finish fans. Today we are diving all into the Philip Hinchcliffe Presents Range. Once again, I'm joined with Luke.
Hello, everyone.
So tonight's show, we're going to be doing obviously your questions, a little bit of news because we've had a pretty quiet week in terms of Big Finish news, which is kind of strange. And of course, the Philip Hinchcliffe Presents tier list. So Luke, while we wait for a few people to join, what have you been up to?
Not much really, just back to work, back in the swing of things, and got my vaccine tomorrow. You had yours yesterday, today?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, so shortly we'll both be double jabbed.
We can live again.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
But I mean, enough real world downers. I have been re-listening to some Philip Hinchcliffe in preparation for tonight, and that's about it, really, to be honest. How about you?
I'm pretty much the same. Like I bought the 11, and I was like, I'm halfway through God of Phantoms and Genesis Chamber, so I was like, I'm gonna put that on the back burner for now. But yeah, very much
it
like
shocked
you.
us, didn't it? That really...
Yeah, because I expected that to be out next week because I think the Big Finish podcast said that would be out. It's like the drama tease this week, isn't it? And normally there's a drama tease for the week's
coming.
releases.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they don't, like Ninth Doctor, Ravagers. They didn't drama tease that, but that was sort of like more special release, wasn't it?
I think because they knew people would gonna get that regardless if they drama tease or not.
I think it was nice to save that and have that be more of a full surprise when it came out.
I mean, especially Sphere of Freedom, because that was only like 42 minutes, so you'd practically have near enough half the story.
Yeah, I mean, part 6 of God of Phantoms was about that length, really.
Oh, and then Death's End.
Yeah, Death's End, that was a lot.
Part 4. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, we've had some chunky August. We had a lot out in August, and a lot of them were chunky ones.
Not of I'm regretting it because like value for money, but yeah, it takes a lot of time to listen to them.
Yeah. Although in some, is it quantity we're after or quality?
See, Death's End I didn't mind. I mean, God of Phantoms.
That one was. We'll get on to that.
We'll get on to that. I feel like we're in the minority with that because I was looking at reviews and I was like, is it just me and you who are not too keen?
I've seen a couple of people not. I feel like it's a Marmite range. You either seem to love it or hate it, and some people it vibes with. Us, sadly, it does not.
It's a weird range because I have moments where I'm like, this is brilliant, and then like the next scene, I'm like, oh no, I've gone off it. It's very strange. Should we dive into the news and then go on to the chat, and then we'll do our little tier list?
Yeah, dive into a puddle.
Let's do that then. Let's load the old news page up. What news we have this week?
Right. I'm just checking on the like the news updates thing to see if there's any smaller little tidbits that we've missed. But no, it's mostly been sales.
It's mostly been sales. I think is it 150 to 200 now going out of print of the monthly range?
Yeah. Yeah, that is it.
Which is crazy. It's crazy because I think that was our round about the time we become subscribers of Big Finish. So sort of 190 odd to 200 was around about then for me.
Yes, so my first one was Rani Elite.
Mine was Mistfall, so I was one in front.
Yeah, okay. Because I did. I brought Widow's Assassin and Masterverse separately.
I remember listening to Widow's Assassin on YouTube because somebody uploaded the whole thing, and I listened to it there. Naughty, but I have the CD now. It's fine. Yeah. So yeah,
that's a typical Ned Fountain weirdness.
I remember loving it. I remember liking it.
I liked it.
It sort of explores what happened to Perry, much like Perry and the Piscon Paradox did, really. So there's sort of two versions of Perry if you want to have either ending for her, I guess.
Yeah, it was one of my first like really out there Big Finish listens. I suppose like that and The Abandoned. And this I certainly preferred to The Abandoned. So
And I guess the characters well being all alien, it was just trying to fit the voice with what alien you think it would be as well.
It's a very full on one, isn't it? Things like that, but it's balanced well.
I mean, Nev Fountain, very good writer.
Yeah. But yeah, that's us reminiscing about the 150 to 200 now that that's going out.
I'm sure we'll do a tier list and talk about the stories year by year at some point.
Eighth Doctor as well.
Series
Eighth Doctor Adventure Series 1 and 2.
That sort of feels like that would never go out of print. I feel like that was sacred. I was like, Big Finish aren't going to get rid of that. That's like the ideal jumping on point for many people. And it's going out of print, so it seems like the apocalypse is coming. The purge is happening on the Big Finish warehouse.
I've also just realised that this was actually last week's news.
Well, there we go.
I think, because I remember we did talk about Eighth Doctor. I think Stylish One brought up in the chat last week, but we didn't talk about monthly range going up because there are lots of things they announced, isn't there? Okay.
Yeah, quite countermeasures and all that sort of stuff.
I think that was a while ago, wasn't it? Or was it the new countermeasures now?
The new countermeasures, and I think series 1 to 4 are now going out of print. I've not picked any of them up yet because I want to see what countermeasures is like before I commit to the individual spin-off.
Yeah. So speaking of 60s, we have something 50s.
Oh, good segue.
Well, near enough.
A decade.
Yeah. What's a decade amongst friends? We have Torchwood, Soho, Ashenden. I guess that sounds about.
Yeah, that sounds natural.
Yeah, that sounds like a English little new town. But you still haven't listened to Parasite yet, have you?
I bought it on that was it sort of pre-order price sale about a year ago. Not picked it up yet. I mean, I picked it up because you said really good things about it.
It's a good strong box set.
So I should check it out before this. Are you going to pick up this one since you were a fan of the first Torchwood Soho?
Yeah, I definitely will. This feels like it's Torchwood the classic series that didn't exist. If that, it's like if the stuff with Jack and all the gang is the new series, then this is like the classic series in a way. It has that very 50s feel to it, but also it is more liberated as Torchwood is. It isn't what the BBC would have allowed to be put on the TV at that time, because things were much more sexist, racist, and homophobic, sadly. And this definitely does get into that, and with these very minority groups being downtrodden by the rest. And so it's nice to see them in the spotlight in this setting, see the struggles that they're going through, and also see them facing up against different alien threats. And so this feels like a very different volume, exploring the more what do they say in the article about the horror of the Newtown and outsiders and things, like the paranoia. That's it they're going for, like the 50s paranoia of outsiders, and that seems to be playing into that theme as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what it has to offer. I'm not a fan of the cover though, I will admit.
Yeah, I like the background. I mean, is that nice? Yeah, the background's nice.
I wish the characters were blended better into the background. It feels very 2007 in terms of what Big Finish were doing with their covers then.
Yeah, I mean, it seems more like a book cover in a way, or like a BBC audio.
Yeah, it feels slightly cheaper than it should do.
Which hopefully doesn't reflect the set itself, because I'm sure it'd be brilliant, because it was quite acclaimed Soho before.
It's James Goss again, writing about
on a mad one,
7th Torchwood in a row.
Blimey, he must be stuck in his room just writing Torch at this point.
Nah, it seems that way. How does the man even eat?
I don't know, but his Twitter's very entertaining.
Yeah, so cover aside, I am definitely looking forward to this set.
Because you've got the character from Madam Mime in it, haven't you? The
Yeah.
person, Miss Hartigan from the Next Doctor, not Miss Hartigan
Yeah,
herself.
Dervla Kerwin's
Yeah.
character. I can't remember her name at the moment. I'm a fake Torchwood Soho fan.
You didn't even pick that story up, did you?
No, but she was in the first set.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought that was her introduction story, Madam. I'm
Oh, no,
fake,
I think it is
Big
set.
Finish fan.
Yeah, I think it is set before Torchwood Parasite though. Elizabeth Hayhoe. There we go. Yeah, she was in the first set and alongside Norton in Madam Mime. And then she's coming back for this set as well.
That'd be pretty nice to experience that character. So I guess that's Tortured Soho all covered.
Yeah, one last thing about the first set, actually. I think I've mentioned this to you before, but it has what is possibly my favourite F-bomb in any piece of media.
Because if that's not a selling point, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. And it's not a funny one, actually. It's quite a serious one. And I think what a lot of Torchwood does, because it can use more strong language, like especially series 1 and 2, they sort of went all out of it, didn't they? They thought, oh, we haven't got a filter on now. Let's just go for it. Rather than thinking of what they should, they thought of what they could. But Tortured Soho is a bit more calculated with that. And it's about, I think it's the 5th episode. There is no F-bomb before that. They build up to it slowly. And then it, because of the seriousness of when it is used, it has that much more impact. And it really is just a jaw-dropping moment in general, brilliantly acted by Dervla Kerwin. So, yeah, I will say there is that for you to look forward to.
So check out Tortured Soho then for
that
F-bomb. That's a selling point.
Yeah,
not the actual
really
story,
is.
just the F-bomb.
Yeah, there you go.
In terms of other news, we've had 2 Time Lords with the 11, which you haven't picked up yet.
No, not yet. I will be getting that one though.
But yeah, not a listen to
no
it.
rush.
So can't comment on it. Hopefully next stream we do, I can say whether it's good or not. But the most recent news, we have Dark Season comes to Big Finish, which is basically celebrating 30 years of this series. And it was the first series produced by Russell T Davies, and it is an audiobook is it adaptation or just a straight up audiobook of the book of Dark Season?
I think it's just audiobook, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's not a full cast, is it?
Yeah, it says on there Veronica Lambert reads. So,
and if you want to get the CD, it's limited to 1,000. I can't say, but I'm gonna pick it up because I'm not familiar with the series.
They must have a bit more faith in this one then, because a lot of CDs don't even. A lot of audiobooks don't even get to the point of being CDs now.
Yeah, it's like Scourge of the Cybermen. Where's my CD of that? But then you look at it, it's like 7 hours. Like, yeah, that's not going to be a.
I suppose this is more of like a children's novel originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's 5 CDs, so I guess it's a standard Target book audio. Length, I guess.
Yeah, I can't remember how many words Scourge was, but that was certainly a big chunky one. That was like 7 hours, 7.5 hours, I think.
I mean, yeah, part 3 was 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
Or just over, because it was like 1 hour and 38 minutes, wasn't it?
Something, or maybe like 31. But yeah, certainly a long one.
It was a chunky one.
But yeah, I think Dark Season doesn't really interest me, to be honest.
It's one of those bits of news where you're like, I can save money.
Yeah, it's that's cool, but I'm not going to get it.
I'm sure there's a market for it, which is great, and most fans are going to be happy. It's just, I wasn't alive when this first came out, so I have no sentimental attachment to it.
I think it did sort of revolutionise the British children's TV landscape a bit, doesn't it? And leads on to, I
think Russell said that this was his gig to get him to get Doctor Who eventually. I guess this was him sort of testing the water. In a way, for him to be able to produce Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think some people have compared it to Sarah Jane Adventures as well.
I mean, I think, in our little group chat, we've sort of speculated, could this open the door for Sarah Jane Adventures being done as much like Dark Season audio? Is that something you'd want to see?
Maybe. I don't know. I'd certainly like to see more of the characters, like maybe bring Rani back somewhere. But I don't know. I'm not sure about the series as a whole. Even perhaps adapting those last 3 stories and then see where they could go from there.
Yeah, that'd be quite good. Like Jaguar and Lightfoot Series 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be quite nice.
Yeah.
And we could finally get, the Battle of Bannerman Road.
I saw someone like mock up a poster for that on Twitter. That was quite exciting to see.
It's one of those things where you're like, is it better just to be left to the imagination?
Yeah. Is it like the Shada or the Dark Dimension?
Yeah. We've got to
was
leave
the
something
script written?
Sacred. I don't
Surely
know.
It must. Because I know the 13th Floor, which I think was going to be the 5th story of Series 5, that got adapted into a Wizards versus Aliens episode.
Then the script might, or like a synopsis of the plot line could exist out there. Have to do a bit of researching for that.
Yeah, because they went away for a short like mid-season break, and like in terms of filming, and that's when Elizabeth Sladen fell ill, or had been ill for a while, but it hit her even harder, and then sadly she passed. And so, yeah, I wonder,
was it going to be the finale of that series?
Yeah, Battle of Bannerman Road was, and I can't remember what the 4th story was going to be.
So the script, probably does exist out there in Russell's attic somewhere.
Maybe not a final draft, but yeah, I wonder who was meant to write it, because I don't think it was Russell, was it?
It could be Phil Ford, because he did quite a few Sarah Jane stuff.
What's he doing nowadays? Because last I heard of him was Into the Dalek.
Oh yeah, I forgot he did Into the Dalek.
Yeah,
he did like the adventure games, didn't he?
Yeah, he did that before.
But yeah, I think that's for news, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, we've less talked about the news and more just drifted off into tangents. But yeah, that's true. Jacoby, yeah,
that's a download release. You tempted by that?
Maybe he is entertaining on those little behind the scenes bits we get with the War Master sets, and it's him talking to Scott Hancock who does those interviews as well. So that could be interesting.
I see. I'd probably definitely get it if it was like the Tom Baker 80, where if you pre-order it, you get it signed by Jacoby. That would be lovely, but
it's download only, isn't it?
Yeah, it's download only, but I am tempted just to bite the bullet and go, you know what, I'm gonna get it.
How much is it? $8.99.
Let's have a little gander now, shall we? I think it is £8.99.
Yeah.
Oh, $7.99.
Oh, there we go. How long is it?
Let's have a look. 163 minutes.
That's decent for what you're.
Okay. That's not too bad then.
Okay.
Can live with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it. Maybe it'll be one of those things, just like bump an order up over 50 quid.
Yes, that'll be a good way of doing it and getting it.
Yeah, certainly. While it's there lying around, it's something that we could pick up anytime. Like, we don't have to get it. Like, it's not there's going to be huge spoilers or anything
about his life.
It, so, yeah. I think maybe like with self-defense, the next War Master volume, like when we're in a real Jacoby mood, that could be a good time to pick it up.
Or they could put it on sale then. So yeah,
it probably will go on sale later down the line. So yeah, no rush, but something that might intrigue me some point.
Should we do a few questions then before we do your
let's go for it.
Do you want to start?
What's your favorite and least favorite James Bond movie? From Benjamin James Miller.
Oh, I'm not really an expert on the James Bond film. Like, I normally watch them when they're on ITV on like a Sunday.
I've seen a fair few. I used to be quite into them when I was younger, but
do you say like the cliche one?
Oh, is that Goldfinger?
No. There's more of a cliche one.
Oh, see, this is how much I know about it.
Okay.
Which is the cliche one?
I'm gonna say it. I think it's Octopussy, isn't it?
Ah, what your
No.
favourite?
Nah, I wouldn't say. I don't know if it's my favorite. As well as like Moonraker and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I can't say what my favorite Bond film is because I don't know them that well to say which is my favorite and least favorite.
No, neither, to be honest.
Um,
I don't have particularly fond memories of Casino Royale, but I think that's just because I was too young at the time to really
yeah,
enjoy it. Like,
I think what was the last one? Was it Spectre? Spectre was all right.
I haven't really watched any of them since Casino Royale.
See, they're normally on at Christmas, aren't they? So you kind of just start watching them in the background while you do other things.
Yeah. I think we're not the best people to really ask about James Bond stuff, I'm afraid, Ben.
Sorry, but I say I like Roger Moore and Sean Connery. They're the two good Bonds for me. Which classic? I can't go wrong. Which classic villain do you think the Ninth Doctor should face?
I'd quite like Silurians.
I'd say Ice Warriors because I'm a Ice Warrior fan.
There you go. I think Martha Jones and Donna Noble should go up against the Cybermen. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Nothing in Series 4 or after contradicting that, so...
Yeah, because I always had a weird fascination with Terrence Dick's little quick read where he did. I think it was
Made in Steel. Made of Steel.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, 10th Doctor and Martha, Cyberman story. I'd be down for that. So, yeah, I'd be definitely down for that.
They suit Series 3 tonally, don't they?
They do. They do. And you look at that cover, like, that was a real missed opportunity.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine, like, the mid-series two-parter as a Cyberman story?
I mean, it would be better than Daleks in Manhattan and Evolution of the Daleks, I guess.
Perhaps. Certainly wouldn't be... what is it? Human Nature, Family of Blood.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got that instead.
Yeah, it's not the best two-parter of Series 3.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully Big Finish can come along. Now that we've got Freema definitely doing more of them, get her and Tennant teaming up against the Cybermen.
I mean, who knows? Tennant might have recorded it. We just don't know at this point.
True. Have to wait and see. I think he's definitely recorded a bit more than we've got announced.
Oh yeah, he's definitely got another series he's probably recorded. Probably Cyber Universe in the Cyber Wars, maybe.
Oh, who knows?
That'd be pretty exciting. Continuing with Cyberman chat, the stylish one. Hello. Forgot to say this last time. Why did they even bother getting the same cyber control actor from Tomb for Attack? It's a suit and clearly not meant to be the same controller. I think
it was in the story, wasn't it? Even if they've upgraded the costume, I swear in the story they talk about how he's the same one who got knocked out by the doors and stuff.
See, I thought it was they got him because they assumed he did the voice as well.
Oh, and they made the mistake.
And they made the mistake, and they were like, "Oh, he can't do the voice."
But that voice really wouldn't match that costume, so
yeah.
Because they wanted David Banks at first to go into the cyber controller costume, but he wanted to stick with the leader.
Attack with Cybermen, though I do enjoy it. It does seem a bit overly clustered with Cybermen. Because what's the point of the leader if you've got the controller and then you've got the lieutenant as well? You're like, well, you're kind of overcrowding yourself there, cyber lads.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's a bit like the Emperor and the Supreme, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think it's more clustered in terms of plot points.
I mean, that's just continuity heavy, isn't it?
Yeah. That's just typical Eric Saywood.
Or or Ian Levine.
Oh, yes. Who knows?
Who knows? That's a big old mystery.
Yeah. Why did the Third Doctor Adventures volumes 1 to 4 have Pertwee's face in the dark on the covers?
I think that's probably down to respect of Pertwee because I think when those sets came out, it was probably a very risky thing. The whole recasting was never really done by Big Finish.
Yeah, it was the first big recast, wasn't it? And I think they were being very gentle testing the waters, weren't they? But I think to us it did feel almost more disrespectful at the time.
Yeah,
not to have his face on there.
considering all the other Doctors had their own little sidebar and everything, because that's a throwback, isn't it? Sidebars.
Yeah.
But yeah, that didn't have it.
Thankfully, he's on them all now.
Yeah,
I suppose it's because they couldn't black out Liz and the
true.
Brigadier and Sarah. Like, can you imagine what the Volume 7 cover would be like if they didn't have any of their faces?
It would just be like a shadowy landscape, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Volume 5 covers a little bit strange with just like the floating Pertwee head, but I think they've definitely refined it now for like Volume 6 onwards, haven't they?
Yeah, it's almost like a reminiscent of the sidebar, isn't it? But just awkwardly stuck in the middle and not a bar.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we finally give you the Pertwee head, but it's really awkward on the cover, so enjoy.
Yeah. But then Volume 6, Floodgates opened, and we're where we should be now. I think we can forgive those. We also had that weird thing with Volume 3 where they did include like the Pertwee head on the
oh yes.
But then they swapped it out, but it's still on there on the physical copy with the little booklet inside.
The cowards.
Who knows? It's a weird one.
Thoughts on the announcement of Time Jack seems to have potential. Yeah, I'm down for it. I'm quite excited about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where I'm just skipping out on it. Like, I don't think it would be bad. I think I'd enjoy it if I picked it up, but I can save money by not getting it.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll cover it for you and see whether it's worth it or not.
Yeah. Thoughts on, similar topic here, thoughts on the announced 11th Doctor Chronicles 2, and will you be getting it? As a major fan of Series 7, this is like catnip to me. Reading the Vortex article and hearing the extract made me more excited. I have downloaded the extract, actually, because that's the one story that interests me. So I'll see how that goes.
Which one's that one?
The day before they came, that's the one like set at a seaside town.
Was that the Fury from the Deep one?
I think so, potentially.
Well, yeah, not Fury from the Deep. I don't think it's related to it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though. There's that line in the trailer about like seaweeds, tentacles moving in the foam, or like the foam moving.
Yeah. I mean, I've not got the extract, but I'll probably pick up the box set. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about it on the live stream, and I'll do a video on it as well. So, yeah, I'm excited for it because, 11th Doctor, big soft spot for him.
I feel like that might be the next set out because that was announced ages ago.
I need to pre-order that before I get caught with the postage again.
Yeah, there you go.
I did 5th Doctor Lost Resorts because I'm not missing that one.
Yeah, I think that must be end of the month, sadly.
I want that one out right now.
Yeah.
That mucks up our schedule if it is the end of the month.
Well, we'll see how we go.
Favourite and least favourite Hinchcliffe TV story?
Oh, that's a suitable question.
For tonight, yes, very good question.
I think we've got too much chat still to go. We can't then what is it?
Segue,
yeah. But I'm losing my words tonight. Yeah, we can't segue into it, sadly. We'll have to just keep. But yeah, there's a lot of good ones to choose from.
I'd say my least favourite is Planet of Evil.
I haven't watched that in so long, so I can't really say.
I've got a soft spot for Android Invasion. I don't think it's bad.
No, I quite like it.
I enjoy it. I
think it's certainly on the weaker side, but I mean, I used to quite not be as big a fan of Hand of Fear, but with the season 14 Blu-ray, I took to that one quite a bit more.
That's the one what's really surprised me. Like you, I was like, oh, I don't like it. But watched it on the Blu-ray, I was like, oh, you know what? That's pretty good.
Yeah, it sort of goes to pieces in the final part, but it has a really strong first three.
Oh, yeah. When you've got poor old Stephen Thorne tripping over the scarf and just falling down. You're like, oh, no, poor Eldrand.
Yeah.
In terms of favourite,
I think maybe Revenge of the Cybermen is the least. I feel like that's just an easy one to pick on, and I feel bad for doing it, but it has its flaws. I still enjoy it. It's like a guilty pleasure watch, but I do think, it might be the weakest because it's a very strong era overall. So choosing a least favourite isn't necessarily choosing a bad story. Yeah, I mean, Talon's Wing Triang, that's one that jumps out.
Anything from season 14, I'm like, that's very good. I mean, Seeds of Doom, actually, I love. Seeds of Doom.
Yeah, I really like that one. That's one that I can keep revisiting. Pyramids of Mars, always a classic.
That's a classic. Terror of the Zygon's another good one.
Yeah, I mean, Genesis of the Daleks.
Can't go wrong. That was my first classic. That was, so yeah.
Ark in Space.
Brain of Morbius, I love.
I'm not as big a fan of that one.
I like it.
Oh, I do quite like it, but I wouldn't rank it as highly as the others.
I'll probably say Robot to Death's my favorite, actually.
That's a very strong one.
Just for
I probably
nostalgia.
I probably would have to go Talons, but
of course you would.
I can't say no to Jaden Lightfoot.
Oh no, I was thinking that, but I thought that's your pick, so I'm like, I've got to be original.
Yeah, me watching it at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I can't say I'm that devoted because I'm asleep by then.
I mean, I usually am as well, but for whatever reason, on one night, I ended up watching episode 1 of Talons at 4 a.m. in the morning.
And then it became a meme ever since.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, I don't think I ever watched it at 4. I think I watched it before that and then messaged the group chat about it, saying something. So I was still awake at 4 a.m. to be fair, but I think I was about to go to sleep and I messaged that and then woke up in the morning to messages laughing at me for watching Talons at 4 a.m.
Absolute mad lad is Luke. What a life he lives.
Oh, wow. But yeah, what is the most underrated Doctor Who classic story, New Who story, and Big Finish story? Personally, I'd say The Smugglers. You said that might be your least favorite historical last week, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I don't seem to get it, really. I mean, mind you, I haven't revisited it since 2013, so maybe I need to revisit it and give it a go again. But I tried binge listening to it, and it's not one I could listen to all the way through.
Yeah, he also Bells of St. John as New Who and The Next Life as Big Finish. I mean, you said Android Invasion. That's certainly a underrated classic Who story.
Yeah, that's quite underrated. I'd say Claws of Axos is very underrated. Like, people seem to crap on it. I'm like, oh no, it's quite good. I do like that one.
That's the first Bob Baker and Dave Martin one, isn't it?
Saying that, though, people seem to not be too keen on Bob Baker and Dave Martin, but I'd say they're pretty strong. Well, they've got Underworld, but they're pretty strong for me.
I'd say they're a bit hit and miss, but not too bad.
Sontaran Experiment, that's another good
one. Sleep No More comes to mind for New Who.
Really? Ooh.
I don't strongly like it. It's not like one I rave about or anything, but it's one I sort of finished watching. I thought, well, that was okay, I suppose, nothing bad. But then just seeing loads of people saying worst Doctor Who story ever is thinking, is it really worse than what we've had so far this season alone?
Yeah.
Let alone some other Moffat stories. Yeah, it's not great. But I think in terms of how people rate it so low down, that's where I see it as potentially underrated.
See, Cold War I feel is quite underrated. Like, not people talk about it, but
yeah,
I feel like Hellbent I've always had a bit of a soft spot for.
Oh, that's another one that gets a lot of hate.
That gets a lot of hate, but I'm secretly in the corner loving every minute of it. Like Capaldi, first 20 minutes, my God, Capaldi's
he can never disappoint with his acting, can he?
No, he doesn't even say a word. It's just all in his eyes. You're like, I know what that man's thinking. Like the internalization, that man, he's got some good subtext to work with. My gosh.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with the modern finales, like the Moffat stuff. If you take it out of context, they're really good stories. But if you put it into the grand scheme of a series, they don't really hold up as well as they should.
I feel that way about Wedding of River Song. I think that's got some great things going on with it and is quite interesting. But yeah, when it comes to being a finale to Series 6, it sort of feels off.
Yeah. So I do like that one as well, actually. It'd be quite interesting to revisit Series 6, actually, because I feel like, be an interesting one to revisit.
Especially doing it properly through an order now that we know all the twists.
And now it's 10 years old, so whether it makes us reflect with rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah, God, that's a weird thought.
Oh, I know. In terms of underrated Big Finish.
Well, there's so many to choose from.
So many. trying to think.
I feel
It's
like a lot
weird.
of these things end up underrated just because the sheer amount they come out with. Something comes out, rave about it for a little bit, and it just gets forgotten about in like the stampede of more new releases that
Yeah.
comes tumbling past.
I would say Primeval, not the ITV show, the Fifth Doctor in this as well. I'd say that's a good underrated one.
I can't really think of one. There's too many.
Warehouse is another one, actually. I feel people sleep on the Warehouse.
I really like that one. I sat very close to We Are the Daleks in terms of quality. Like that was a solid 2 stories in a row. Sadly, I think let down a bit by Terror of the Sontarans at the end of the trilogy, but
yeah,
that is a really good one.
Yeah, so I think that's an underrated one, I guess.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. You've saved me there from not answering a question.
Right, it's my turn to read a question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Favorite individual cover from Philip Hinchcliffe Presents Volume 1? I would say Devil's Armada Disc 2.
Ooh, that's where it's Tom Baker on the boat.
Yeah, with like the fight, like I like the fiery background as well. It just has it just has more color than like Ghost of Gralstead.
Yeah,
like, I get what they're doing with.
The Ghost of Gralstead ones all seem to blur together a bit more.
I get they're trying to do like an old photo, aren't they? Like a series of photos. But it just doesn't seem to blend together for me.
Yeah, I'm just having a... I'd say Devil's Armada Disc 1, actually. I like that one.
There we go.
Yeah. Both on the Devil's Armada train, but different coaches of it.
We cover the whole thing.
Yeah. And we'll be talking more about that shortly. But first, why do lots of Big Finish covers circa 2012/2013 look so dark and oddly photoshopped? Examples: Spaceport Pier, House of Cards, Forbidden Time, Hinchcliffe Volume 1, and Fifth Doctor box set individual cover. I wouldn't say the latter ones are that bad, but I think you've certainly got a point with Spaceport Fear and House of Cards, particularly.
They seem a very oversaturated House of Cards. Like there seems like a printing issue on it, really.
Yeah, the Forbidden Time. I can't. Is that must be a companion chronicle?
Yeah, it's a companion chronicle. Yeah.
Yeah, let me have a look at that cover.
It's Polly and Jamie and these weird creatures.
That's a weird one, isn't it? They stand out a bit.
It's weird because you've got like covers like Dark Eyes around about that same time, and then you've got like Spaceport Fear. Was it like when they introduced like the 50th anniversary logo?
Maybe. About the Forbidden Time, that's before that. That was back in 2011.
Oh, blimey.
But yeah, certainly I think House of Cards does have that logo though. But yeah, I think because certainly earlier on they didn't quite have the technology there, did they? So it's them more just playing about things, catching up with the times, I guess. They hadn't quite worked. And it depends on the artist too.
I don't really have a problem with the Fifth Doctor box set covers, to be honest.
No, nor the Hinchcliffe ones. Favorite First Doctor Companion Chronicle and Second Doctor Companion Chronicle?
Ooh. Out of the ones I've listened to, I would say
I quite like the first one of Volume 2, the one with the train and the Lost Soldier.
Oh, Mouthless Dead. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
that's a really good one. As Second Doctor, I'd say probably Jigsaw War. That's a good one.
No.
First Doctor, I don't know, because like most of his stuff, what I've listened to is like in the trilogies, like the Oliver Harper stuff and Sarah Kingdom.
You can say a whole trilogy if you want.
Yeah, I'd say one of those trilogies.
Yeah, I'd say
probably the Oliver Harper one. That's probably the stronger of the two.
Yeah, I'd say what's it? That Dalek one, Across the Darkened City.
Yes.
That's a solid one.
Very good one. Very good one.
Yeah. I think there's been a fair few good ones, but yeah, that one's the first that's jumped to mind.
Flamerkid is actually for the First Doctor. I did enjoy that one.
Oh, yeah. That's sort of like the counterpiece to Devil's Armada, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, because it's the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, Mark Platt again, I think.
And he's got a thing for history, as Mark Platt. Hopes for Out of Time 3, but it's a good story.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
That's all I can really say on that.
Yeah. I guess that it doesn't feel quite as rushed as Out of Time 2, maybe.
Yeah, but there's
That was a very busy story for an hour.
Yeah, because within like the first 20 minutes, you're like, oh, okay, what's happening here now with the story? But yeah, I'd like it to focus more on the Weeping Angels and the monster within the story than maybe the Doctor interaction, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I think for Out of Time 2, though the Cybermen were in it, we kind of lost sight of them within the story.
Yeah, because it was only really one of them as a threat towards the end.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I still want the good Doctor interaction, because that's why we're going to that story. But I want it to have at least a bit of balance with the actual monster within it.
I think Out of Time 1 got that balance right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it just was lost a bit in 2. But I suppose, yeah, with the Weeping Angels, at least, they don't talk. So you can afford to maybe focus on them more without taking away from that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, you feel like they'll have more focus on them. But yeah, hopes for the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 6th Doctor box sets next year.
Goodness gracious me.
6-parters for Doctor.
I'm in agreement with that. First Doctor? Dodo?
Yeah, well, we know we're getting Dodo pretty.
Yeah, I'll just say Dodo.
Yeah. 2nd Doctor, I don't know, like good explanation for why it's happening in that gap.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Beyond the War Games is just your one box set or it is a grand scheme of war game box sets. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, excited to get news, or curious, I guess is the better word to get news on that.
I really want news now. I'm sort of getting a bit, not fed up, I'm just like, all right, can we get excited about stuff now?
Yeah. 6th Doctor, I thought we got news yesterday along with the 11 because they tweeted out more adventures coming for the 6th Doctor in 2022, but it was just like a link to the ones we already knew we were getting rather than any actual details on them. Cheeky Big Finish.
Cheeky Big Finish trying to make us buy it and get excited. What companion would you want for the 6th Doctor, out of curiosity?
I'm not sure. Because it seems like with Lisa Greenwood at the moment, we might not get Flip, at least for these ones. I feel like we've had enough constants this year.
Yeah.
We're getting Mel next year in what's Minded Hodiacs. Maybe just Perry again.
Yeah. Or maybe Charlie. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah, could be. Or yet another new one, maybe.
Or what's that companion from Law of a Gnome had?
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
A few stories of him.
Yeah. Or just have another, like, 6th Doctor solo run. Like, that worked quite well the other year.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Aside from God of Phantoms, favourite Philip Hinchcliffe Presents cover? I guess, does that include Philip Hinchcliffe Presents 1? Because we've sort of talked about that already.
Yeah. Should we just go for out of 2 and 3, I suppose?
Yeah, I guess so. Helm of All.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because it's in the thumbnail.
Yeah. Well, somewhat in the thumbnail.
Yeah, somewhat.
An edited version of it. We've got us two on there, living it up as the Doctor and leader, I suppose.
There we go. We made it, Mom. We're on a big Finish cover.
There we are. Best Big Finish spin-offs to listen to at Christmas aside from Jake. Oh, he's taken out the good one there, stylish one. Most of these questions have been stylish one, by the way, guys. We had a couple from Benjamin James Beller at the start. We forgot to mention that. Thank you, stylish one, for all these questions.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Depends if you want a depressing Christmas and we want more Master.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot of December releases, hasn't he?
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm trying to think if there's anything with 60s feel. Paternoster Gang, could we cheat?
Yeah,
there we go.
That's where Jay going. I'll probably maybe River Song, because I think there's quite a fun campness to it, and that's Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of them came out like Christmas Day, some of them, didn't they? Like
Yeah,
Boxing.
series 1 did. So yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
yeah. In terms of that, was a spin-off.
Yeah.
Favorite EDA cover from 8 and Lucy days. Ooh, I'd probably say I quite like is it either Resurrection of Mars or Demos? One of those. I like that.
I don't like how a lot of Series 4 tend to just be red.
It's foreboding and foreshadowing the dark days of those characters.
Yeah, certainly it's none of the ones from 1 or 2, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're a bit iffy. Yeah, Series 3 seems to be where the covers get a bit more good, a bit more
I
what we're used
quite
to.
like World Wide Web. That's a good cover.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Hot House, that's another one.
That's a good story, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, Resurrection of Mars. That's all right.
Yeah. One of those, I guess.
To the Death, that's like the classic one, but it's a good cover.
And a good story.
Yeah. What is next in the chat? If you had to choose what Cyberman design would you want to see replace the Invasion Cybermen on the Big Finish covers? I think we got to go Will in Space.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I was just thinking that. Just give them a bit of limelight. Do you think the worlds of Doctor Who or the Last Adventure will get a standard CD release like Legacy of Time and a Masterful? Ooh.
A couple of years ago, I'd have thought so. But now that they really are pushing CDs like out in terms of stock, like once it's gone, it's gone. I don't think they'd replace them.
See, I would say yes to the Last Adventure. World of Doctor Who, no. But not, like in this current climate with Big Finish and CDs, and I agree with you. But
yeah, I do think Worlds of Doctor Who would probably be a no, but Last Adventure is hard to say. I mean, has anything gone out that didn't have a standard edition? Because I know, like the end obviously did, and the novel adaptations, Volume 2 went out of print, but that had, you could still get Damaged Goods and Run to Crime anyway.
Yeah. I don't think so, unless you count like the Companion Chronicle was exclusive to Light at the End. Well, that was in Doctor Who magazine as well, but I guess that doesn't really count.
Be interested to see what they do with 10th Doctor Volume 2 and 3, if they do the same they did with Volume 1, or because they've already got the standard editions anyway, so it seems
it seemed a bit pointless, really.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you don't get anything extra out of it, because you don't get the behind the scenes.
I think the bundle of the free CDs is cheaper than the actual box set, so it makes no sense.
Who knows?
World of Doctor Who is now out of print and has no CD release now.
Oh, is it?
Okay, so that must have recently just gone out of print.
Yeah. Was that on sale in the recent?
I think it was on the limited edition one, yeah.
Yeah, because I know Light at the End went. So I still. I'm just like scrolling through all.
Let's have a little scroll.
Oh no, it wasn't on there with the It's like not on the thumbnail they've got for it.
Okay.
Yeah, it must have gone just before that. I was realizing.
I think it's because we've got that. Well, yeah, we've got them, so we're like, we don't really need to pay attention.
Yeah, Last Adventure. That's the one I could possibly see. I'd like to see that with like a new style of cover.
That would be nice.
Yeah, but who knows?
It's been out 6 years and it's still not out of print, so I don't know.
Yeah, like how many was that? 1,000?
I think that was
10,000. I mean,
10,000. So I know they cut it down a fair bit, didn't they?
Yeah, after I think with
5,000.
10th Doctor went down to 5,000, didn't it? Or Volume 2 did. Yeah.
And then Masterful was 3,000.
Yeah, and now the vinyls are at 1,000. Strange times.
It is really strange.
Do you think we'll see dual case box sets of 10th Doctor Adventures? Oh,
Well,
we've
covered
already
that.
answered that.
There we go.
Favorite 10th Doctor Adventure limited edition cover? Volume 3 for me.
Yeah, Volume 3. And plus, it's the best limited edition they've done because you get the lovely costume designed by June Hudson.
Yeah. Stylish one. You're burning for our options if we ever do a cover tier list here.
Oh, goodness gracious me. Favorite standard edition cover from the 10th Doctor Adventures. One favorite standard cover from 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 2. I guess all the 10th Doctor Adventure covers. I think Technophobia's got to win Volume 1.
Yeah.
Not my favorite story, but I'd say that's got to be it.
Sword of Chevalier for Volume 2.
I agree. Are we gonna make it a hat trick? Are we gonna agree?
Creeping Death? Or No Place for me.
I'm between those two. Like 1 Mile Down, yeah, it's okay.
But it's those two are the top tier ones there.
I'd say for me 1 Mile Down because it's like Bernard Cribbins. So yeah, I'd go for that. Just for default, Bernard Cribbins.
Yeah. No Place. Yeah. Any memories of Doctor Who Adventures? We were talking about this just before, actually.
Yeah, it's mental.
Or was that on? I can't even remember now. When we talked about Phil Ford.
Yeah, it was just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, because we were on. We started talking about Dark Season, then Sarah Jane Adventures, then Phil Ford. Yeah,
there we go.
So we did mention them. It was a fun game. It's a shame that it's sort of hard to access now, isn't it?
Or is it? Or do they mean like the magazine Doctor Who Adventures?
Oh, that might be true, actually.
I mean, if it is the magazine, I've got fonder memories of those. I got them for a fair bit, actually. They were really good. They were really
I don't have any like specific memories of them, but I certainly remember getting them and liking them.
I've got drawers full of like their pencils for like their pencil cases. Like they come in handy for school, and like getting the weird squirty sonic screwdriver.
I think that's
like
sort of
Dalek slime.
Yeah, like after Battles in Time, so needed new magazines to get, and so I sort of shifted over to them after that.
Yeah, I think for me it was like I got Doctor Who Adventures, and I think I transitioned into Doctor Who magazine, so I sort of continued that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I can't say I've brought a Doctor Who magazine in ages now, though, to be honest.
I mean, I've done a video on Doctor Who Adventures in I think items in storage, not items in storage. Like there's something on my channel, Doctor Who Nostalgia, and it's like loads of Doctor Who magazine. And so yeah, check that out if you want to see me reminisce about Doctor Who Adventures.
Yeah, there we go.
My favorite 8th Doctor and 10th Doctor, 11th Doctor, 12th Doctor, Doctor Who magazine comic strip.
I haven't really read any of them.
8th Doctor, I quite like Endgame. Children of the Revolution, that's a good one. But I think The Flood's got to be the best one. 10th Doctor, from what I've read, maybe The Betrothal of Sontar, because it's a really good portrayal of the Sontarans. 11th Doctor, do you know, I can't remember reading any of the 11th Doctor stuff. Remember there being an Axon story? Or maybe, gosh, there's a weird one what was done around the 50th anniversary where they got the tribe of Gum, but they were like these super aliens and they were trying to find the Firemaker, and it has Ian and Barbara in. That's a weird comic, but hey, check that one out. I remember enjoying that one.
Wow.
And then you've
got some strange stuff.
They do. It's a wild time. It was celebrating 50 years of Doctor Who. 12th Doctor, I quite like the Highgate one, because you've got Clara dressed as Jo Grant from the Three Doctors, so that's pretty cool. But then you've got the Delgado one as well.
I do actually remember reading a Paternoster Gang one, which doesn't really fit into any of those categories asked, but yeah, I vaguely remember that. It was like, you know, the Crystal Palace, the actual one in. Was it in Hyde Park? I don't know.
I can't say I'm familiar with London.
No, but yeah, so I remember it involved that, and them investigating something there. I can't say I remember much more, but yeah. that doesn't really fit into any Doctor. But what are your hopes for the other 2022 box sets that we have no info on? Being an Eighth Doctor fan, I'd love to see some stories set between Eighth Doctor Adventures books, but not sure how likely that is. That was from Amelia Emerson, by the way. Sorry.
Well, thank you, Amelia.
Yeah. You've got a TARDIS in your icon, so I thought it was another stylish one question, but no, it is a slightly different TARDIS and a different person asking a question. So thank you, and thank you, Stylish One, for all your questions.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's so bizarre that we don't have any info, because we have like the info dump of here's the bundle, buy it if you want. I think we've got to be at the point now where they should start giving us titles for box sets.
Yeah, I mean, Eighth Doctor, I can see that being a bit longer because that's November and December. We've still got Stranded to go first, so
would we have finished Stranded by that time those box sets come out?
Yeah, well,
what? That's mental.
Hopefully. I feel like if not, they delay those box sets. If Stranded gets delayed, it'll knock on.
Do you think that's going to be like the continuation of Stranded, out of curiosity?
It depends.
Or do you think it's the new thing?
I think it might even be a bit of both, depending on how Stranded ends. Because certainly they want it to be a fresh start, but...
Because I really like your idea, what you said about doing like a new Company of Friends, because I know Stylish One mentions it underneath about Volume 2 Company of Friends, and I think your suggestion for that being an Eighth Doctor box set would be real good.
Yeah, I'd do. But I think that'd be a good way, as when they're relaunching their whole image, as it were. If you want to get new people into the Eighth Doctor, why not have a couple of sets highlighting all his different eras and all his different companions? Like have Volume 1 with Charlie, Lucy, and maybe like Mary Shelley or something. Then have Volume 2 with Liv, and then Liv and Helen, and then whatever crew we come out of Stranded with.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good way, because it just covers everything then, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind them doing some sort of comic adaptations as well for the Eighth Doctor. Because we
have got that range started, but never went anywhere after Volume 1.
For me, it just seemed like the logical place. As much as I love Tom, I know that he's the most iconic classic Doctor, but I think in terms of marketing, I think Eighth Doctor Comics has more of a selling factor for me personally.
They're more like, it's similar to the Virgin New Adventures, isn't it? Where it's that more wilderness years time. It's like this was Doctor Who, this was all there was. Whereas those Fourth Doctor ones, they're more like these are supplementary to the TV series that's going on at the same time.
Though they're brilliant, like they are one of the
that's
most
not a knock on them.
Surprising releases from not last year. Gosh, 2 years ago.
Yeah, is that March 2019.
Our favorite Eda book. I've not read many.
I haven't read any, so you're beating me there.
I'd say, maybe Vampire Science or Eight Doctors. Or does Wolfsbane count? Because that's got the Eighth Doctor in and Fourth Doctor and Harry and Sarah. So that count.
Yeah. Also, that was our first question from when the live started.
There we go.
We caught up, and now we have a lot more still to go.
Don't worry, we'll keep going.
Yeah. Favorite London landmark.
Favorite London landmark.
Big Ben, classic.
St.
Can't
Paul.
go wrong there.
Do nice ice cream.
I hope Jodie Whittaker does go out with a bang, says Benjamin James Miller.
Yeah, I think that's what every Doctor deserves, a good ending.
Yeah, she needs a good series under her belt, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
The Stylish One's next question.
Would you like more stories of Eight and Benny, Eight and Fritz, and Eight and Izzy? There's a lot of eight. Mary Shelley, and even a Company of Friends Volume 2 books. I think we've technically tied this into.
Yeah, you mentioned this comment a second ago.
Mentioned this. But yeah, I'd be down for that. Really, I think it'd be nice to explore Eight and Fritz and Izzy, because we haven't really explored much of them. We've only had like the one story, so I think that it'd be perfect time to sort of delve into an untouched area of Eighth Doctor. Maybe have Gemma and Samson from like Terra Firma, have them in a box set.
It'd be interesting, Mary Shelley. I imagine they wouldn't do it now because what was it? Haunting of Villa Diodate's come out. That sort of greyed the waters there.
Would you
mixing metaphors a bit? But
see, this is the thing. If they were to do Mary Shelley, would you have Julia Cox, or would you have the person who played Mary Shelley in Villa Diodati?
I think if you're going with Paul McGann, you've got to get Julia Cox, haven't you?
I guess.
Yes, I don't think I'm not sure how he'd feel about acting alongside someone different in the role when there's no good reason why Julia Cox couldn't, if she wanted to. If she doesn't.
I guess there's an option there.
Yeah. Does that end definitively? Like the is it Witch in the Well, the final one? Oh no, it's the Army of Death. Does that is she still traveling at the end of that, or has she dropped off again?
I think she drops off. She drops off from memory.
I think it'd be nice to have more of them, just for more of that theme.
Yeah, I love that theme. Like that was my first McGann trilogy, so I've got a soft spot for like the Mary Shelley stuff.
Yeah.
And actually, I feel like that theme suits Capaldi more than McGann. You know, there we
the
go.
Guitar, yeah.
Favorite regeneration story?
War Games?
Oh, I'd say Battle from Parting of the Ways or Planet Spiders.
That's a strong one
for me.
It's also, I think, Caves. That's always a go-to one.
Yeah, I don't want to be like that typical fan. I'm like, I've got to say something different.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Time of the Doctor. I like that one as well. Favorite Fourth Doctor Series 8 individual cover?
Series 8. I'm trying to remember a lot.
I quite like the Enchantress of Numbers cover.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because that's one thing what I've always wanted Doctor Who to do with like the Plague Doctors, and it's only sort of been done in expanded media. Like they really lend themselves to be a Doctor Who monster, and you know they've been monsters in Plague City and Enchantress of Numbers. So
yeah, they also got a little. They were almost in Series 9, kind of, not quite, but
well, yeah, you had Capaldi dressed as one, didn't you?
The costume didn't at least appear. I do quite like Time's Assassin, but yeah, I'd probably go Enchantress of Numbers as well. Yeah, what is our next? And stylish one. To add to that, favorite regeneration scene. Ooh, scene on its own.
Oh, what one broke my heart the most?
Caves of Androzani. I get like that one definitely comes to mind.
See, I'd say, I don't know. I like 11's speech about him saying goodbye, like that. When the music swells and like, oh no, I'm not ready for him to go. But then again, Eccleston. That's one thing what I like about Eccleston's regeneration, but it's not sad. He's going out with a smile, so it's so reassuring.
But it is sad at the same time.
It's sad,
but it's not sad from his point of view. Yeah,
it's very optimistic, and I like that. I mean, Tennant. I know a lot of people have a problem with End of Time, but I rewatched it, and I was like, I like it. But his last line suits his Doctor so well.
I think my problem with it more is like the more metatextual side of it, where you have a new Doctor coming in, no new companions and stuff. You have a public that adores David Tennant and is already predisposed to disliking Matt Smith. Stuff like, I don't want to go, and that scene with Wilford, he said, "Oh, I die," and a new man goes sauntering off. Russell, you are not setting up the best platform for a new Doctor to step in here. You're sort of poisoning the well a bit. But in terms of, like, in universe, I agree it works. But just in terms of like the general public, it's always like the show digging itself a bit of a hole.
Yeah, it's kind of like, nah, they're gonna fail, Matt Smith and Moffat, but no, Series 5 definitely proved that. They excelled.
But it did take a bit of a knock in terms of how the public saw it. And that probably would have happened anyway without those scenes. But yeah, I definitely don't think they helped anyone at all.
No, they didn't. But hey, it's done now. It's locked in the can. It's part of history.
Yeah, we can't. It's been 10 years, so we can get over it. And then what? Time and Rani. That's a pretty fun one.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen the extended edition version of that?
Oh no, I have. That's a special feature, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it's on the extended edition.
Oh, it's on.
So look forward to that when you get to watch that.
I mean, what line is more iconic than "Leave the girl, it's the man I want"?
Leave the DVD. It's the Blu-ray I want. There we go. Hello, Stylish. Obviously, we're catching up with the chat, so it's Hello, Stylish One. Luke face reveal in the thumbnail, yeah.
Well, yeah, there I am. We are alongside of each other on the Helm of All cover.
At long last.
Yeah.
There we go.
Favorite individual cover from each Dalek Universe box. I've got each as well. I mean, Trojan Dalek from 2. Both of us.
I agree with that.
Safely say that. I do quite like the Mechanoid one in the first volume.
I'd say that was my least favorite of that.
Oh, really? What's your most?
Buying Time. I think it's because it's that photo of Tennant, and I'm like, oh, I've not seen that Tennant photo for a while, so I'm like, oh, I like that.
That's a good one. Volume 3, I'd go for the last story, the Triumph of Davros.
What's the Dalek one?
The Dalek Defense.
Yeah, I'd go for that one.
Yeah, the one where it's got the Resurrection Supreme.
Yeah, I'd go for that one.
Yeah. Domhnall Gleeson for Doctor 14, says Benjamin James Miller.
Yeah, sure. I don't know who that is, but yeah.
He was General Hux in the new Star Wars trilogy, I think. And he was also in Peter Rabbit. He's like the gardener person. That's his most iconic role.
Okay. I mean, I can't really remember him much in the Disney trilogy of Star Wars stuff, but hey, yeah.
And I think he was a Weasley.
Oh, he's ginger. Oh, yeah. There we go. We'll have a ginger
That's
doctor.
why he was a Weasley.
There we go. Favorite individual cover for Ravagers. Favorite individual cover for Respond to All Calls.
Fright motif for Respond to All Calls, I'd say.
I quite like Girl Deconstructed, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a nice simple one. Spear of Freedom for Ravagers.
I would say for Ravagers, I'd say Food Fight, because I like that optimistic Eccleston, like the Ravagers on there. Or
that one feels a bit empty to me, but fair enough. Favorite Big Finish novel adaptation, I'd say Damaged Goods, closely followed by Well-Mannered War.
I'd say again Well-Mannered War for me.
Yeah, again by the stylish one. I think if I don't say who's asked the question, just assume it's the stylish one. He gives us a lot, so thank you for those.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd say Well-Mannered War is a very strong one.
I quite like Cold Fusion as well.
Yeah. Damaged Goods, I also do quite like that one. I might re-listen to that sometime now that we've got Mind of the Hodiak coming out. I think that'd be good to lead up to that.
That would be a good one to sort of do like a review of, compare the two.
Yeah,
maybe we could do that.
Yeah, that'd be good, like around March next year. We got them planned out in advance.
There you go. We know we're going to be here in March.
Yeah.
I've got 2 hot takes up my sleeve. Well, we look forward to hearing them because
we've got a fair few as well.
Yeah, I think tonight we are going to be a little bit more critical than we normally are. So that's all we'll say for now.
Our takes will be so hot we will burn our bridges with Big Finish.
What bridges we have with them.
Oh dear.
Favorite Fourth Doctor Adventure box set cover? Ooh.
Not anything from series 10, to be honest.
I would say for me, probably series 8, volume 2, maybe.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
Just out of this year, wow, Big Finish are doing like a syndicate master plan. Like it's like a fan-made cover, not in a negative way. Like you feel like it's what a fan would dream up of a story, but it's real. It exists.
Yeah. I'd say I quite like Series 7 Volume 1 actually as a overall cover.
Okay, I'm not too keen on that because Tom looks a little bit pale in that. Like his lips look very purple.
They haven't used the most flattering image of Leela, but I like the aesthetic of it overall.
Okay.
Like how they've done it with the black backdrop, and then I quite like that. What is next? Benjamin James Miller. I know Miles Taylor, aka Taylor's Vision, said he absolutely adored Necromantia. That is a hot take.
That's a hot take and a half. Yeah, I think that's probably his maybe guilty pleasure, Big Finish, maybe. Favorite Torchwood continued box set cover?
Is that
There we go.
Oh yeah, it's cover.
Continue box set. There we go. I'm trying to think of the continued covers. Is it like the Series 7 sort of covers, is it?
Yeah, series 5 and 6. Torchwood the stories continue.
None of them really grabbed me, to be honest, so I can't really say.
I'd say God Among Us 1. I quite like.
Yeah, that's quite a good one from memory.
Yeah, it's weird. Some of them are like very bare bones, like Aliens Among Us Part 3, where it's just Jack and Yvonne.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Right. And then you have other ones where it's like the whole Torchwood team. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Countermeasures Volume 1 and 2 are free on Spotify. I don't know. I can have a little Google.
Oh,
let's have a little look.
That's interesting. While you look at that, ignoring the John Barrowman thing for a moment, Fortronite's Lives of Captain Jack set. I haven't got the first. I have got the second. That was pretty good. And the third, I have only listened to the first story, which was just the first story, which was just okay.
In terms of countermeasures, Series 1 and 2 are on Spotify, so you can check that out if you want.
There we go. What about your thoughts on Lives of Captain Jack?
It's okay. Like, I wouldn't say it's a spin-off what sort of grabbed me. I'm like, I want more of it. Like, I think what we have of it, it's good. Yeah. But I enjoyed Volume 2. I think Volume 2 is probably my favourite of the bunch. I'd say. Yeah, because I did enjoy the Colin Baker one. Though it's a gimmick, because it's a visual gimmick with Jack wearing Colin's clothes.
Yeah, it suits him.
Yeah, it suits him. Favorite Sarah Jane series? Adventure series? Say Series 2, because you've got Brig and Karg.
That's always a classic, isn't it? I do quite like a fair bit of 4 as well. Not the finale, though.
What's the finale of Series 4 again?
That's the Judy Graham one.
Oh, right, yeah. What? I always thought that was Nigella Lawson.
Oh,
is that Nigella Lawson in Sarah Jane?
Oh dear, that would be a interesting story.
That's a bit of stunt casting right there.
Yeah. Stylish one. Biggest gamble on a Big Finish release, as in a box set that you took a risk on. Did the risk pay off? Robots for me, I guess. But also Lone Centurion. And I'd say the risk paid off with both. How about you?
Maybe Donna Noble Kidnapped or 12 Doctor Chronicles, actually. 12 Doctor Chronicles, I'd say, was one I was like, I wasn't too fussed on getting. Then I looked at reviews. I was like, all right, this is getting really good reviews. So I picked it up and I was really pleasantly surprised by it, I'd say.
Yeah, that's good.
Big Finish needs to get Matt Smith to reprise his role as the 11th Doctor for audio dramas. Yes, he does.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more down to Matt Smith at the moment. I think Nick Bruce has said Big Finish have reached out. It's just down to him how busy he is, whether or not he wants to. Maybe he just doesn't. Yeah, I mean, can't force him, sadly.
Maybe we just want a bit more distance from the role, maybe.
Yeah, I guess maybe he's just not interested in doing audio. Yeah, so
Yeah.
got Jacob Dudman's doing a pretty good job for now as Matt.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly it would be nice to get the real deal in at some point, and that'll be a big splash as well, especially if they get Karen Gillan alongside him. Like that would be even more.
Yeah.
Not, I think she might even be more down for it. It is just how busy she is.
She's doing very well for herself.
Yeah, she's probably the most successful actor to come out of Doctor Who, I'd say.
Oh yeah, she got like the big Marvel stuff and Disney as well.
Yeah, what is Jumanji?
Yeah.
Kai asks, "Have you spoken about Dark Season yet?" Yes, we have, Kai.
Yes, we have.
You probably asked that about an hour ago, to be honest. The way we're going through this chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave our very brief thoughts on it. We didn't have too much to say. We then sort of drifted off into a Sarah Jane Adventures tangent.
Thoughts on Tortured Series 1, favourite and least favourite episodes? It's all right as a series. Like you can see that there's a glimmer of hope within it. In terms of favourite, I don't know. Maybe I quite like Countryside because that's quite adult. And it balances itself out all right.
I haven't even watched all of them, to be honest.
See, I rewatched it when they went all on iPlayer last year. So I did like a massive Tortured marathon.
Yeah. I tried to do a marathon at one point, but didn't get past day one.
That's probably the least one, yeah.
Yeah. But I have seen like others from later on, like on their own at some points, but not all of them. So this one also asks, I see Big Finish are losing the rights to the Martian Chronicles. It went out of print and it seems Big Finish are losing the rights, so it'll be gone forever. Shows the flaw in downloads over CDs. I mean, that's less to do with it being download only and stuff, because it obviously was on CD. But also, that's just rights there, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Don't. But I think that originally went out on BBC anyway.
Yeah, it was I think BBC Radio 4 probably.
Yeah. Like there's nothing they can really do about that. That's just that's someone else's property that they've lent to Big Finish for them to sell, and now they want it back. Same thing happened with Tomorrow People, I think. And did they do? Yeah, they did do that, didn't they?
Yeah, and I think
Sapphire and Steel. Yeah, and they were all CD at the time when they were still on the website.
And Robin Hood as well. They just randomly got taken off overnight, didn't they?
Yeah, it's just the way these things go sometimes with licenses. Really, it's not anything down to downloads over CD, I'd say.
I see Big Finish teased about going back to Class on Twitter. Would you be interested? I think I know the answer for this one already. Be interested in a Big Finish continuation of Class? As a fan of the show and audios, I'd love a continuation to resolve the cliffhanger. I'm not really interested in Class.
I'd like them to do it, but I wouldn't pick it up because I think the fans do deserve that continuation there from that cliffhanger rather than just stories slotted in. I think, but I wouldn't personally pick it up if they did do it.
Yeah, I think for people who want it, they deserve the resolution. But I think for me, there's just so much coming out now. I'm like, I need to be selective, and Class is one of those things that sadly has to not be on the list, really.
I mean, they've already recast the two of the characters, haven't they? Going from the first two volumes to the second. So I wonder how much interest the actors even have in it at this point.
There we go.
Stephen Wright, I've just finished the 11 and I can say this is such a great box set, one of the best Sixth Doctor box sets. I mean, he's only had 2, hasn't he? Oh no, 3 now. But yeah, sorry. Not dismissing your opinion there. I think, that is good to hear. I mean, we're certainly excited for Chris Chapman's final episode, aren't we?
That's the one thing what I'm excited about that box set for, because Chris Chapman really knows how to write old 60. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I look forward to listening to it.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Stephen.
Thoughts on each story in the last adventure? Is it End of a Line? End of a Line.
Brilliant start.
Brilliant start. Good way. Nice little way of hinting at another classic villain within there.
Yeah, that was a good surprise.
That was a very good surprise.
Red House,
weakest.
Not the best. Yeah, weakest. Stage fright, strongest.
Yeah, we've talked about stage fright on the
Yeah, we
Jaden
did that with
one.
Jake. Yeah, either stage fright or End of the Line. I'd say strongest.
I'd agree.
And Brink of Death, solid enough. Underuses Mel.
Yeah, because isn't the Sixth Doctrine like in the Matrix for most of it, and like that Yorkshire technician Time Lord?
Yeah, it's a bit of a messy but all right ending.
Like it explains why Mel wasn't affected by the Lacurtian radiation, whatever that was. But there you go.
Who knows?
So many Big Finish sales, it's amazing. I'm finally getting a chance to pick up Ravenous. We've spoke pretty highly of spoke highly of Ravenous, so hopefully we haven't tainted your view and expect something amazing, and it doesn't turn out to be amazing. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Tortured Soho question.
This is stylish
one. Why does Sergeant Andy keep ending up in the 50s? Is there a reason for that, or is it just an Eric Roberts in the Eye of Harmony situation where they keep hitting the reset button? I think he just keeps going back there really for different reasons. Like Tortured has a vortex manipulator lying around. It's explained in the first set why it happens. I think each set just has a different explanation to get him back there, really, and he goes back at the end. I mean, they did finally do one without him with Madam Mime, so.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Wizard versus Aliens? Would you like another series? Would you be interested in a Big Finish continuation?
I
never saw it because I think I was at that age where I grew out of CBBC, so I missed Wizard versus Aliens, so I have no opinion on it. But if people want it, then let them have it.
Yeah, I watched some of it early on, but I couldn't get into it. I just felt a bit sad watching it. Like, this wasn't the Sarah Jane Adventures, and it was just making me miss Sarah Jane Adventures and my childhood.
Yeah.
Because it was very similar. Like, it was there to replace it. And I just couldn't get over that feeling, really. So
that's me with Paternoster Gang. I'm like, this should be Jago and Lightfoot.
So, I mean, if people want a continuation, then yeah, I'd say let them have it, but I wouldn't pick it up.
More money saved for other Big Finish. Vinyls of Matt Smith, yeah.
Sarah Jane Adventures Series 5 meant to end in a place that would give Series 6 a fresh start. Apparently, Sky was meant to be the trickster's daughter and sacrifice herself. That'd be pretty heavy. I mean, she was only about a couple of months old by the end of what was Series 5. I don't know. I quite liked Sky. Is that an unpopular opinion?
I have no opinion on Sky because I sort of tuned out by Series 5 in a way.
There you go. I don't think Series 6 necessarily needed a fresh... I thought Series 5 was meant to be a fresh start by introducing Sky and sort of having that be a jumping on point for people.
I guess it's a bit like... maybe like Children of Earth to Miracle Day, how it sort of became a completely different entity in a way. Because if it destroyed Bannerman Road, which I guess it would, it'd be much like the hub being destroyed in Children of Earth, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Be interesting to see where it would be at now if Elizabeth Sladen hadn't sadly passed away when she did.
I, Claudius, with Derek Jacobi would be is one of the greatest BBC dramas ever. Yeah. I've not watched it. I need to watch it.
Yeah, I haven't either. I think was that back in the 70s?
Yeah, I think it was. Because Jacobi talks about it on like the behind the scenes. On like Killing Time, he mentions it.
Yeah, they joked about it quite a few times, don't they? Yeah, that's like his most iconic role, which is why his interview by Jacobi is named after that in a way.
Hopes for War Master Volume 8. I don't know. Again, just continue the good storytelling.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we've got Volume 7 to go first.
Yeah, before we can get excited about Volume 8.
I mean, we both want that Eighth Doctor,
Mm.
like Witchfinder set eventually, don't we, with the War Master?
Yes. Yeah,
to do that, what was originally going to be Volume 3, but... Would you like to see more Geoffrey Beaver's Master stories, maybe a spin-off? He doesn't seem to be in many audios these days. No, he doesn't. I mean, he could always be popping up in Series 11 of Fourth Doctor Adventures for all we know.
Or he could be in Stranded.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he did do Ravenous, so...
Yeah. And he was in Masterful as well, so yeah.
I'd quite like him to maybe go to McCoy again at some point.
Yeah, that'd be quite nice, like the last day box set maybe.
Yeah. We'll just include him anywhere, really.
Yeah.
Like what they're doing with the 11, maybe do like a box set against the Doctor for his Master.
That's a good idea.
Whether it be Tom or Peter or Sylvester, who knows?
Overall thoughts on Doctor Who Series 6 with hindsight and knowing where the arc went?
Messy.
I think it was the case where Doctor Who probably tried it a bit more than it could chew.
Yeah, overextended itself a bit.
It tried to appeal for the American audience by splitting the series and trying to have the big, like the opening two-parter is in America. But it tried to have this big grand scale, which Doctor Who can do. But I just don't think all the things sort of knitted together to make it kind of satisfying. But I enjoy Series 6 standalone in terms of stories. But yeah, when you look at it in hindsight, it does seem a little bit messy, and the whole river thing just gets a bit confusing.
Yeah, which is a shame because we both have grown very fond of River, thanks to the Diary River song. But yeah, favorite Target novel cover, favorite Virgin New Adventures cover, favorite Virgin Past Doctor Adventures cover, favorite Past Doctor Adventures, favorite PDA cover, favorite EDA cover, and favorite new series novel cover.
Ooh.
I do not know enough of the covers to comment.
I'd say favorite Target. I'd say Cave Monsters because I like it. And then Virgin New Adventures, Dying Days because it's got Majestic McGann, or Dimension Riders with McCoy playing chess with I think Death or a skeleton. That's pretty cool. Then favorite Virgin Missing Adventure, I'd say Goth Opera's pretty striking, and that's a good book actually. Past Doctor, in terms of Past Doctor ones, nothing really stands out from the BBC ones, to be honest. Just off the top of my head, I'm sure there'll be one where I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. Spiral Scratch is an interesting cover. But in terms of new series,
I like a lot of the Ninth Doctor early ones.
They really capture that grittiness of series one, don't they?
Yeah, similar to Girl Deconstructed. That cover has that kind of feel, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Or I quite like the sort of Matt Smith Series 7 covers, like Plague of the Cybermen and stuff like that, really.
Yeah.
But then Prisoner of the Daleks, that's another good cover.
Oh, yeah, with the ice covered Dalek. Yeah.
I'd love a figure of that Dalek.
I think got quite a few good Tennant ones around that time, isn't there? Where he's because you
got the Auton, Sontara, and Krillitane as well.
Yeah.
I think the War Doctor should go up against the 11 by Stephen Wright.
Yeah. But the 12 or even 13 by that point, mate.
Yeah, we never know.
Yeah. I guess it depends what they plan to do with the because she sort of was left on a cliffhanger at the 12 at the end of Time War Force, so it depends what they plan to do after that, and maybe she could pop up in the later box set. I think it would be nice for the War Doctor to go up against, or just have more established things in his range at some point. because a lot of that seems to be front loaded on McGann. But like, was it Gallifrey with Leela and Romana? Like that all seems to be tied up already without them even crossing paths with the Doctor for some reason. So yeah, who knows?
Oh, I sadly missed the Eighth Doctor cover. I'd say Interference, the Interference books, because it's Pertwee and McGann. There we go. Yeah. Right, where are we back in the old chat?
Tom Garb, will you do a tier list of Pertwee adventures after Volume 8 comes out? Yes, we will. Actually, yeah. For the Third Doctor Adventures range, we are planning on that, and we're also going to be doing a Pertwee TV story tier list, won't we?
Yeah, we'll be doing all the Pertwee TV stories and all the Pertwee stories and a little bonus in there as well, a little couple of bonuses.
Yeah, that'll be something a bit different.
Yeah, it'll be pre-recorded. So that'll be out in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm not sure what day it will go out because we haven't decided whereabouts it could go. But it will be out. It will be out.
Yeah, it's coming.
It'll be out September, so stay tuned. Hand to Feel, Eldrad Must Die. Would you like more Eldrad stories? By a stylish one.
I haven't listened to Eldrad Must Die, so
that's a good one.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to more Eldrad stories. I feel like that'll be one of those things where, similar to what they did with Sutek, how they did the sequel later on with is it Triumph of Sutek, the Bernie Summerfield set?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Age of Sutek. That's the Fourth Doctor one. Similar to how they went back and did the Fourth Doctor Adventures after that. I could see them doing something similar with Eldrad.
Yeah, I can see that actually. Now you mention it, yeah.
Like they did the Fifth Doctor and then they go back to the Fourth again. But
yeah, I think for me, out of those two, I'd say Eldrad Must Die. I think that's a good story by Mark Platt.
There.
Stylish one, Series 7A or Series 7B?
Ooh. I would have said Series 7B a long while ago, but I've sort of gone off that more and maybe would lean more towards A.
I mean, I have a soft spot for Asylum of the Daleks.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I do like it. Then you got Dinosaurs on the Spaceship, which is probably my least favorite of that bunch.
No, I don't mind that one actually, even though it's by Chibnall.
I like A Town Called Mercy. That's very good.
I think Dinosaurs on a Spaceship actually was the one I went back and revisited after we found out Chibnall was going to be new showrunner.
Oh, good grief. I've just realised that question was sent an hour ago.
Oh, God. I've also Dinosaurs on a Spaceship as well. I think that does highlight a lot of the problems that are to come. Like how overcrowded it is for no reason with characters.
That's a point,
yeah. But at least here the characters are sort of developed-ish, and I think mainly because of the groundwork done for Amy and Rory already.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but then you've also got Brian. It is Brian, isn't it, Rory?
Yeah. Love Brian.
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit of a Graham prototype or a knockoff Will, depending how you look at it. But
very true.
Yeah, it's weird when you look back at things when the showrunner takes over, seeing how many of their tropes were sort of set up earlier on. But yeah,
in terms of Series 7B, I like Cold War, Bells of St. John, Snowmen. I love the Snowmen.
Do you count that as 7B though, or is that its own little special in the middle?
I count that as 7B. It's got Jenna. Well, yeah, it's Clara.
Is Asylum of the Daleks also 7B then?
It's one of the splinters. It's one of the splinters. It's one of the splinters. Do you count the Invasion Time part of Series 7 then and 5 Doctors?
Yeah. That's what. Yeah. Then do you also count? Like, it's Day of the Doctor and Time of the Doctor. Would you put that on the end? Because that's very much a trilogy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. But oh god, I love those. So to be honest,
yeah, you've got like that of the Doctor trilogy.
Oh, see, if you include the 50th, and I've got to say, season 7B. I just love it. That's become like a tradition every year at Christmas. I will watch that.
No,
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still leaning more towards A, but even that, I don't. Series 7 is very bland for me, and I do prefer Series 6. Funnily enough,
Oh, it's style.
like
Oh, yeah.
even though the overall arc I think maybe works a bit better in 7, I think just there's more to enjoy in Series 6 for me.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit that then to see.
Yeah.
To see whether
That
see what the
holds up.
stylish one has to say, because Series 7's bare catnip.
Yeah, that's true. Stylish one. Think about how old George from Night Terrors is now. Yeah, that's a weird thought.
I don't want to think about that because it makes me feel old. Well, the Doctor is now out of print.
Yeah. Why would Big Finish put Unit, War Doctor, and Philip Hinchcliffe Presents all out of print just before the Rangers start back up? Surely sales would increase when Rangers start back up. I don't know. That's down to them. Maybe they've just got so many in the warehouse they need to get rid of them.
Yeah, whenever. Yeah, that's probably it, really, isn't it?
I suppose Unit, that's like a new jumping on point. And same with War Doctor, actually. Maybe it's like because they're new jumping on points, they expect people to start there and then they won't go back.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, because Unit Nemesis does seem to be like its own entity. Brian Smith, Static is one of the best covers I've seen. It's a good cover. It's a good cover.
That message is retracted for me for some reason.
Oh, is it? That's weird.
Yeah. I think retract as well. That means it's like blocked, doesn't it?
I don't know.
But that's not that they've removed it themselves. Who knows?
It's still here for me.
Yeah. Benjamin James Miller, I'm hoping Billy Piper makes a cameo appearance in the Ninth Doctor Adventures Volume 4.
It depends, really. I don't think we are going to see Billy.
Yeah.
Personally.
I don't expect it.
Just have to wait and see whether there are future plans for Eccleston and whether Billy's a part of that.
I think it's more likely that she'd appear in her own, like in a set with him as a proper highlight rather than a cameo. But I'm also not sure how a cameo would work unless maybe she's playing on a role.
Yeah.
Or it's like something like right at the end, the Doctor's like thinking about his future in like a monologue, and then it would sort of cut to the Powell estate with Rose before she met the Doctor. But even then, I don't know.
That just seems like clutching at straws.
Yeah, that's a sort of forcing way for it to work. But yeah, Mr. Bonk Cactus. Hello, lads. I'm a chav from Wales. We know one of those.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I have 2 packs of cornflakes in my kitchen right now.
Good Enjoy your cornflakes.
Also, Jesus broke into my room and nicked my Henry the Hoover. Is it Jesus or Jesus? Is it someone from Spain or is it Portugal? That name's I don't know.
I'll have to wait and see. I hope you find your Hoover.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you.
Get the roses on it.
Yeah.
Do you know about Croton the Cyberman from the 8th Doctor, Doctor Who comics in his full comic Destroy? He destroys an entire Sontaran ship. I've got the 8th Doctor comics, but I've not read it. But I know of Croton the Cyberman.
Doesn't he have a nose?
I don't know. I don't
know. His design is like got an indent and like in the note or like an outdent, I suppose, technically. Like around the nose area is a plate thing. I don't know. Like a black
maybe
face.
He does. Yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he does.
The Haunting of Villa Diodati or The Company of Friends, Mary audio. I haven't listened to The Company of Friends, Mary, so you'd have to.
I'd have to say Villa Diodati for me personally.
It's a very good one. Well, for 13th Doctor standards.
Yeah. It's my favourite Jodie story, so yeah. What TV stories do you always try and watch Christmas time? For me, it's either Voyage of the Damned, The Snowmen, and Time of the Doctor. Anything 60s, anything black and white.
I mean, it's very close to Christmas, like usually Christmas Invasion or Unquiet Dead. That's another good one.
Yeah, anything sort of Doctor Who Christmas I watch.
Yeah.
I've said Day of the Doctor. Day of the Doctor's become like a tradition now for me and my dad. So
Yeah,
I'd
so
say that.
especially Hartnell when it comes to 60th, I lean more towards the Christmas time.
Or Claws of Axos, because that's got snow.
Oh yeah, it's freak weather
Um,
conditions.
Or if you want a bit of pantomime, have the Horns and I'm on.
Brian Smith, have you got any info on the original draft release of Genesis to Daleks and I believe the Ark in Space on Big Finish Audio? We don't know too much about them, but I think we're looking forward to seeing how they turn out now that they're doing them.
In 2 years' time.
Yeah, following on from that, Mr. Bonk Cactus says, like, I didn't even know Genesis OG draft was still around. No, I didn't realize it would be different enough to make into a. Like, I knew Robert Holmes did a lot with it, but I thought that was more just adding atmosphere and stuff rather than drastic changes enough. Because I know Terry submitted a different one to them, but and then they said, why don't you do something different? And then that's when they came up with the idea of the Dalek origin story. So this wouldn't be that because this is Genesis of Terror. Like, this is an early Genesis draft rather than a different story that got rejected.
Just have to wait and see. All right, where are we in the old chat? I have lost
We're
my
getting some
place.
interesting ones here.
Oh gosh, what do you think of Zoe's cat suit from the Mind Robber? I don't really like the Mind Robber, so I have no opinion.
Oh, there you go. You dodged out of that one well.
There we go.
I mean, I wouldn't wear it myself.
No, I can't say I'd go out on the town wearing it, but hey, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, I think Wendy Padbury made it work at the time.
What a style icon. That's all we say.
Not my favourite Zoe costume. I don't know. I think the character rocks the trench coat in War Games, actually.
Yeah, they could do a B&M figure of that. Use the Sarah Jane figure. Sarah Jane Adventures figure and get a War Game Zoe. That'd be nice.
If they don't get Karen Gillan, I'm hoping you let Eleven and Rory looking for May box set, 11 and River box set in the vein of 10 and River, or 11 and Handles box. 11 and Handles, that would be a strange one.
Oh, it's the longest serving companion.
Yeah. I think probably 11 and River I'd be down for. Because that sort of seems to be the one where there's even more of a doctor-companion relationship in a way.
That seems the most logical.
Yeah. What is your favourite movie?
Favourite movie? Oh, gosh. I don't know. I don't really watch films that much.
No.
I'd probably be Lord of the Rings, probably.
That's a good one.
And say free films.
I always do like just Star Wars in general as a series.
Yeah, that's all right.
Cheat and say 9 or 11 films, however many.
Yeah. I hope the BBC gets Richard Curtis to take on the showrunner's chair after Chibnall. Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. He did Vincent the Doctor.
Ah, is that the only one he's done?
Yeah, I think it was simply down to he owed Moffat a favour, so he was like, "Hey, write this for me," and that's how it happened, really. And I don't think he'll do any more.
No, that's fair enough. I think Sally Wainwright was one that was rumoured to be quite interesting.
Yeah, but that sort of rumour seems to have died a death.
Yeah. Alchemist fighting Gun Ups TV. Hello. Good to have you with us. If you're still with us, how far are we behind now?
We are we're about 20 minutes away from catching up.
We're catching up.
How long? Right.
We'll get to the tier list. 2 hours and we haven't got to the tier list.
We'll get to the tier list in a minute.
Yeah.
All I say with Chris Chapman's story, it's the end of time done right in some way, but it's still a good box. So, okay, I look forward to experiencing that then, because Chris Chapman always delivers.
No, I've completely lost my place in the chat now.
Benjamin James Miller, I believe The Lost Resort and other stories would the Fifth Doctor's guilt what happened in Earthshock. Yeah, that's been the whole sort of thematics of the Mark stuff, really, ever since Tartarus, really. And especially in Warzone and Conversion, hasn't it, really?
Oh yeah, there we are. I found my place now.
You know where you are.
Yeah. The chat is all over as I joined, lol, says Mr. What Cactus. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
The start of this one. Since the 10th Doctor classic companion will be dual case CD, do you think if Matt Smith joined 22.3 get individual covers?
I think so. It'd get individual covers.
Yeah, I mean, Eccleston's still getting them at the moment, so yeah, I could see that. For the fair.
I see that. The Daleks Genesis of Terror is an odd way to enter the Lost Stories range because we technically have the story on our shelves in some form of Genesis of Daleks. Yeah, the same with Return of the Cybermen.
And Doctor Who in the Ark. But it's just very different.
It's just a different iteration, I guess, and it's a what if season 12.
Yeah. See, what do you do if you're one of those people who puts them all on the shelf in order, like mixes CDs, books, and stuff? Do you put them in the soap? Do you put it like on top of your Genesis DVD, balance it there, and hope it doesn't fall?
In simple terms, they're buggered.
Yeah. Odd. Would a CD case fit inside a DVD case if you opened it up?
Oh, don't start playing with their minds.
Oh no.
Whereabouts are we? Quick thoughts on Series 7 stories. I think we've technically done that.
Yeah, I think I can't remember enough of them in detail to give any real discussion there. What else have we got here? Stylish one. You never said your fabulous EDA cover. Oh, favorite. I think you went back and said that afterwards. Yeah. So we've caught you out there, Stylish one. We've got to that. You would have said that before we said that, though. But...
Yeah, there we go. Since the Pertwee tier list is pre-recorded, I'll quickly say Terror of the Autons is very average and Mind of Evil is one of the worst 70s stories.
No.
Colony in Space is criminally underrated. My God, Stylish one.
I can agree with the last part.
My gosh.
You have some hot takes there, though.
Not as hot as the Invasion hot take, but yeah. Right. So whereabouts are we?
Stephen Wright. I would love to see Big Finish sometime in the future do a Rani box set series like the War Master and do a series classic monsters box sets. I would see Classic Doctors New Monsters Volume 3. Yeah, Classic Doctors New Monsters Volume 3. That'd be nice. As for Rani, I think we just need more of her opposite the Doctor. I'm not sure she wants her own box set.
Yeah, I believe that they're trying to do that Suicide Squad thing, aren't they? They're trying to get that to work.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of rights with the Rani, isn't it?
Yeah. Just have to wait and see. Given my Jago and Lightfoot slander a few streams back, I'll accept the Series 6 over Series 7 take. I'm one with the hot takes by liking Series 7 as much as I do. Best series since 2008, in my opinion. Oh,
wow.
My God.
Series 6 is my least favourite 11th Doctor series since it got Let's Kill Hitler and the early 11th Doctor story I dislike a lot. Our 11th Doctor story at least has redeeming qualities. Still great though. Yeah, that's fair. I'd say for me they get like worse as they go along. The 11th Doctor series.
Maybe. I think it has its moment. They have their moments where they're good. Who served as a companion longer, Handles or Myla from the final few Sick Doctor stories after a few? I've not listened to the end of the Sick Doctor and Charlie stuff, so I can't say. After all, she's been there since a certain Hartnell Dalek story. Okay. I'm curious to check that out now.
Yeah, I think I remember reading a bit about that, but yeah, I can't remember the full details.
I have no idea about that, so that's a mystery to me.
I suppose it depends. I'd say probably maybe it still handles.
Yeah, I'd say
because I think the gap in between But then it's hard to tell with Classic Who because you never know how long a lot of those gaps are. Like the Fourth Doctor, I think he was around quite a while, even in universe, like him and Romana, because she was a time lady as well. A lot of expanded media has got away with that and her like not aging at the same rate as a human, haven't they? So they've just had her and the Doctor chilling in the house in Baker Street for decades on end without realizing it.
There we go. Is a character from the Audio Patience era. She's been in the TARDIS since the chase and has travelled for years with the sick Doctor when she steals Charlie's identity. Okay.
Oh.
There's a little bit of trivia there, a bit of Big Finish trivia.
Oh, yeah. It's my favourite Zoe outfit, the catsuit. It gives me the feeling she's more alien than human with all the time she spent on the wheel. Also, the catsuit is so hot.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. Fair enough. I can kind of see the alien aspect of it.
I guess. It just seems very 60s to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
A bit glam rock, I guess. That's a bit 70s more so. What do you think will happen to Mark? Do you think he'll leave or die or something else altogether? That's a tricky one to say. I'm sure he will live a very happy life.
I don't think, after what they put him through in the conversion and Warzone, I think he'll have a bit of a happier ending, like more of a bittersweet one, not necessarily a full-on death.
Yeah, the trailer definitely seems to hint at quite a grim fate for him. I think that's all the chat caught up, I think.
Yeah, I think there we go. Yeah, there we are finally at the end of it. Thank you for all your questions, guys. And
we'll get back
to more. Yeah.
So yeah, let's get on to the tier list. So Luke, do you want to do your fabulous intro?
I always forget to load these up. So I don't know what
Come on.
Yeah.
There we go.
You beat me to it. So yeah, here we go. We've got a bit of a shorter tier list in terms of categories, just because there's less of them in general. So like to spread them out a bit less. But yeah, at the top we have, do we have the right to put it in this esteemed slot? Will we do that for any of these stories? And Doctor, 9 out of 10, of course, referring to the Deadly Assassin, because 9 out of 10 is pretty high up there, but it's not quite perfect. You could sell that thing, Doctor. I could what? A fun little exchange there between Harry and the Fourth Doctor in the Ark in Space. And basically what that means is, it's an all right story, but you could sell it and not miss it. But yeah, also I could what, because we would never sell our Big Finish, even if we hate them.
We're stuck with them.
Yeah. Where do you think I started to go wrong? That's Zoanon's line from Face of Evil. And basically, where did this story start to go wrong? What went wrong with it? And finally, a little pun here, which I sort of suggested as a joke at first, and you said, no, that has to be on there.
It has to be. It's my favourite of all the witty remarks.
Yeah, throw it off a Hinchcliffe.
So we've got 6 stories, is it? Yeah.
1, 2, 7.
3. 7. Okay. Oh yeah, we added Foe from the Future. Yeah, that's been the last little.
So we have the Lost Stories thrown in here as well as Philip Hinchcliffe Presents, because there's sort of some crossover there. I mean, this was where the Philip Hinchcliffe Presents range began, wasn't it?
Valley of Death is essentially. I remember Philip Hinchcliffe mentioning it on a few DVDs that he wanted to do a story about the Amazon. But none of the writers wanted to do it, so like, oh no, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, because Big Finish sort of he actually submitted it, didn't he? While Romana was companion.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because it was originally submitted, but then didn't go anywhere. But obviously, when they went back to it, they decided to put Leela in there instead, which is interesting because now they don't seem to do that as much. They seem to go for the authentic companion, like with Return of the Cybermen and Mind of Kodiak.
Hopefully if this range does continue, we can see Sadie Miller and Christopher Naylor join this range because I think that's what this range needs. I feel like we're starting the hot takes already in a way.
Yeah. And then, one last note on that. Paradise Fire was meant to be a Mel story.
Yes, yeah.
It ended up being Perry. So, yeah. But yeah, as for these two themselves, like one of them was going to be the last story of Philip Hinchcliffe's era, but then Robert Banks Stewart, things didn't quite work out, and so Robert Holmes had to quickly slot in Talon's Wing Chang instead, sort of taking a very similar concept, but that's about it. It's a very different story. So yeah, basically, after this box set, Big Finish went to Philip and said, "Did you have any other ideas floating around that we could turn into a story?" He said, "No, but I've got some new ideas," and that gave us these 5 stories of the range. But yeah, so should we start off with Foe from the Future? And I don't have the
Yes.
Lost Stories box set, so this is all going to be down to you.
So I'll try and fly through this as quickly as possible because get you involved, so you're not just sitting out
thank
there.
you.
Foe from the Future was meant to be the last story of season 14, and it does have similar elements like Talent of Weng Chang with a villain from the future coming into the past. But this, I think, is one of the best Fourth Doctor adventures out there. It's by Robert Stewart Banks, who did Terror of the Zygons and Seeds of Doom. But I think Part 6 wasn't written, so John Dorney entirely wrote Part 6 to conclude it. You've got a great sort of not one-off companion, like a person you want to be the companion in the form of, I think, Charlotte. I think she plays Molly in Sherlock. I think it's simply Charlotte. The story's got great sort of black comedy, which is always wonderful, and it's just wonderful, very gothic with sort of apparitions from the past appearing. Like you can really imagine in part 1 with, I think, Charlotte and I think her brother going off past the Grange, and there's sort of a ghost of a highwayman, and you can really imagine sort of like the Stones of Blood at Night. You can sort of imagine that sort of film quality to it. So it feels very in keeping. Just a really, really good story, and I had a lot of fun with it. And I'm gonna give it. Where am I gonna put it?
Oh, it's entirely down to you.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. It's a good story. Very good story.
It always looks a bit 60s to be on the cover.
Yeah, like the weird sort of robot. You've got these weird sort of robot insects from memory. It's been a while since I've properly listened to it.
You've got a very 70s car on one of them as well, like very Seeds of Doom, which makes sense. It's Robert Banks Stewart.
I mean, speaking of Seeds of Doom, this Valley of Death does sort of feel a bit similar to that in a way, because I would say Valley of Death, it started off like a story investigating the Bermuda Triangle, which, perfect premise for a Doctor Who story. By the end of it, it goes into a very Pertwee style story with like unit involved, and you've got very Android Invasion-esque, I'd say. The story sort of turns out to become like that, really. From memory. It's quite a heavy plot from memory. It's got quite a few subplots. We're all linking rather well. But from memory, I'm gonna put it just below Foe from the Future. I think that's I think that's fair.
Yeah, that seems fair. Stylish One says Foe from the Future is his absolute favorite ever Big Finish story.
I mean, it's a very good one. Very good.
I absolutely adore it. It's paced perfectly, has fantastic plot, amazing side characters, great humor, and perfect sound design. Wow.
I mean, that's one thing I will say about the Philip Hinchcliffe stuff. They've really captured Dudley. The Simpsons very well.
Like even the most recent box set, especially.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get onto that in a minute.
But Ghost of Growlstead first.
Take it away.
A massive 6-parter. And honest, this range I have very mixed opinions on, and this almost sums it up entirely because it has some brilliant moments. Honestly, from parts 1 to 4, I was absolutely loving this story. It was incredible. It was such a fun ride, such great characters, such atmosphere. Like again, it's Victorian setting, but it doesn't feel like Talons or Wing Chang at all. It doesn't feel like a rip-off of that. It feels very much like its own thing. It's sort of got its own gothic personality to it. It almost feels a bit grayer, a bit darker. Like I think Jago Lightfoot breathed like a light and warmth into that. That isn't to be found here. And I'm not meaning that as an insult. I mean it just has that different flavour to it. And I think that works for this story. Then Parts 5 comes along.
The shift in location does not do the story any favours.
Yeah, that's a trend with these stories as well. I think a couple of them have that. But yeah, and it's not just a shift in location, it's also a shift in plot point. Like, it's very much the subplot suddenly takes the focus. And so what starts as a 6-part serial suddenly becomes more of a series with this random episodes take us off somewhere else for...
Isn't Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it just feels like a standalone, like... Yeah, it's a weird one. And then Part 6, I don't know what happens. It's just all a bit crazy. I've tried to follow it, but I just can't get into it after that. I think it's thrown me off, and then suddenly I can't get back into it, and it gets to a really messy ending, which is a shame because I loved it so much. It was so brilliant. But then it just seemed to lose that and couldn't quite hold itself together for those final 2 parts, which always makes me upset about even more because it's not just a bad story from start to finish. It was a really good story. It had so much potential, but then didn't quite stick the landing, and so that sours what happens earlier. How about you? What's your thoughts on?
It's weird, this box set, because this box set had a lot of hype because at the time we only got 1 hour Fourth Doctor stories, excluding the Lost Stories box set. So to have stories from the man himself, Philip Hinchcliffe, and to have 6-part, 4-parters, it felt like, oh, we're getting authentic Fourth Doctor. And for the most part, like you say, the first 4 episodes, like, oh, this is great with like the Victorian freak show. You know, it really utilizes the Victoriana setting. The villain, I think, Maud Dreger.
Yeah, Carolyn Seymour.
Very much riffs off Magnus Greel. I remember it's a story that does riff off Talons quite heavily, actually. Like, I remember Maud Dreger being very much like a female version of Magnus Greel, which is not bad because it's
trying
to
she is like deformed, isn't she?
Yeah, and sort of feasting off energy and all that sort of stuff from memory.
Yeah. And then she becomes this massive, towering, cone-headed god thing at the end or something, if I'm remembering correctly. But
yeah, it just seems, it's a bit messy. Like, it just has a bit tonal whiplash when it gets to Part 5. You're like, you've just lost every bit of atmosphere and credibility given this story, and it's not. It's still assault. I'd say maybe an 8 out of 10 personally. 8 or 7 maybe.
Yeah, I'd go. You could sell that thing, Doctor.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. This is going to be an interesting tier list, actually, because I feel like we've been very positive with our tier list, and this is going to be a very different tier list.
Yeah, I think, speaking of positive, though, you quite like the Devil's Armada. Would you say it's your favourite of the Hinchcliffe range?
Of the Hinchcliffe stuff, yeah, I'd say it's my favourite. This is going back some years. When this first came out, I listened to it, and this became my favourite Fourth Doctor audio. And it's been dethroned since because we've had many Fourth Doctor releases.
We do have quite a lot.
We have quite.
What's your current favourite?
Oh, you've put me on the spot now, you bugger.
Well, I thought since you had this firmly set, there'd be a firm one that knocks it off.
I quite like Well Mannered Wars, one what really strikes me.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Or Labyrinth of Buddha Castle. I just love that one. That's a lot of fun.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Maybe one of those. Maybe one of those for me.
For me, it's sort of a similar case of parts 1 and 2 are really strong, really atmospheric, build the world very well. Few too many characters to juggle, but it's not too bad. Then it becomes a bit of a mess in parts 3 and 4 for me. I'm struggling to follow. I can follow what's going on, but I don't know why a lot of it's going on. Like, with that, I cannot then get into the story and care enough about it, which is a shame. Because it just sort of throws away a lot of the stuff. You've got A lot of weird tropes set up, which carry on throughout a lot of these stories, which we'll get into later when they are being repeated. But yeah, for me, and then it's just a really weird part 4 and a really dragged out ending as well. I remember.
See, I remember being quite confused when we just suddenly had like the Spanish Armada. I was like, whoa, this just seems weird to just have a random battle with, you've built up all these demons and imps, which are built up so well in like the woodlands and at night when the house is sort of being surrounded by them. Is wonderful. You can imagine like the candle, like the atmosphere is great. I love that, and especially when the Fourth Doctor's sort of being interrogated at the Tower of London, is it?
Yeah, I think that's where it's
great.
Yeah.
I like that personally.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the weird things because it feels like characters' priorities oddly shift, don't they? And they sort of forget about other threats, like especially Gods of Phantoms. That's a real one that gets plagued by this problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels like there's too much going on and no one's keeping track or reacting to it in a natural way. It feels like they're all in their own little bubbles.
Yeah, that is true.
It's like characters are doing what the story needs them to do, not what people would do in a situation like that.
Yeah.
And so that really drags it down. I'd put in you could sell that thing, Doctor.
I'll agree. I'll agree with that. I'll agree. Are we going to get a story to beat Foe from the Future? We'll have to wait and see.
Who knows?
With the Genesis Chamber.
Yeah.
Another 6-parter. This I think there was a 2-year gap between this and the first Philip Hinchcliffe Presents box set. Was it? Yes, it was 2016 Genesis Chamber.
Yeah, 2014 to 2016, 2 years. September as well, both of them.
This story, where to start? Part 1, it feels like a real slog. It feels so far removed of what the Hinchcliffe era is. It's amazing how the Hinchcliffe era is renowned for being gothic horror and just one of the best of classic Who. Yet you come to this range and it's so all over the place, and it just doesn't have the essence of what that range is. Like, I think it's not a range what you can binge listen.
No,
because it becomes
like we say, a lot of repetitive stuff. I mean, minor spoilers, but there's a scene where the Doctor believes Leela's dead in I've completely forgotten the name of it. I can't quite read what well, that too. Genesis Chamber.
Oh yeah.
And also in Ghost of Grelstead as well. Like, all 3 of the 6-parters have that scene where the Doctor believes Leela's dead. And so, again, repeating tropes. He reacts completely differently to all of them. And I don't know, it's just so bizarre that happens. And each time it has less and less impact. But yeah, I can respect Genesis Chamber for wanting to do something different and like not want to necessarily be quite like the Hinchcliffe era.
It just feels a little bit too bold in the sense of like the hovercast. Like, I know it did it in season 16 with the Pirate Planet, but for me, we're not at that stage of the Fourth Doctor's era where we are doing these wacky, far out, like with like the aliens.
It feels oddly 60s.
Yeah,
but not good. Like, you can get very good 60s feeling stories. And, I think a lot of 60s stories thrive on that slow build. That just doesn't work with the Fourth Doctor.
I think my problem is that the stories probably would work better as 4-parters than 6-parters. Because I feel like it gives everything away straight away in a way with these stories. Because you've got the idea of like this planet celebrating their, is it like 100th anniversary of like the footfall of them arriving on this planet?
Yeah, and you've got like a tribe who live outside of the city, don't you?
So you've very much got, it's like the face of evil, but in a far more maybe futuristic setting, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, more technologically advanced. Yeah.
Technologically advanced. And then you've got the weird alien threat of like the swarm. Is that what Chibnall was referencing in the series 13 sort of, which are interesting, but it sort of has, oh gosh, my phone's going off.
Sorry,
oh,
I missed that.
Oh dear.
But then you have the tropes of, the Fourth Doctor sort of mind being attacked by the swarm, and that happens in Gods of Phantom. And this is what I mean, that it gets quite repetitive. And then you have love interests for the characters, which, you know, I'm all for love stories, but it just doesn't seem to work for a Hinchcliffe story for me personally.
It doesn't feel natural, does it?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the characters I just despise in this story. I could not get on with any of them, really.
I see. It's weird. Like, I hated part 1, but part 2, I was like, I really, really like it because it had some great character moments with Tom Baker and John Coleshaw as the tribe leader. I thought they were really good little scenes, and started to explore the swarm, and we get their backstory in an interesting way of like the society. But you get to part 3 and it grinds back to a halt where you're like, okay, we're back to the city going all in darkness. Something's happened to the city, and there's no real explanation. And it's, like you said, the stories become very overstuffed with character. So when you get to a scene, you're spending half the scene going, what character is this again? And I think that's the problem with this range, that it overstuffs. And like you say, that it's scared to spoon feed information to you.
Once it knocks you off as well, it's very difficult for you to get back on.
I think as part 2, I enjoyed it because it was 24 minutes. And that's a relief compared to Gods of Phantom, because Gods of Phantom's quite a chunky story. You know, it's still a 6-parter, but, you know, the parts are above 30 minutes. Whereas at least Genesis Chamber, the parts are a little bit shorter. So that's one saving grace. Not that the story's any better.
It still slogs for me a lot, Genesis Chamber. And I think that was it's a shame when you're going through a story and you just want it to be over.
Yeah. Like, I got halfway through part 3 and I was like, am I going to continue it? Probably not.
No. I said, should we throw it off a Hinchcliffe?
Yeah, like I say, it's got redeeming features, but it's not one I'd go out my way.
No. I mean, especially when you consider the price as well.
Yeah, the price is
like you're paying. I think it's $29.99 for a CD. But yeah, I think checking the chat a bit here, Stylish Ones had some comments to make.
Let's go.
Yeah. So the Ghosts of Growlstead parts 1 to 4 were great. Yep, agreed. Part 5 was fantastic, funnily enough. So yeah, bit of a disagreement there, but we do agree on that part 6 was an incohesive mess where actors yelled about light for 20 minutes. Yeah, that sounds about right, Stylish One. So yeah, we're somewhat in agreement there. Mark Platt says in the CD booklet for Philip Hinchcliffe that he thought for a 6-parter to work, it should shift itself completely at some point, like Seeds of Doom. It's why part 5 is the way it is. I can
disagree.
I can see where he's coming from, but yeah, I disagree. I also think it's weird to shift itself and then shift itself back. Is the weird thing. Like Seeds of Doom, it shifts itself earlier on as well, and then sticks with what it shifts to.
I think as well, the atmosphere, because Seeds of Doom is quite a cold story because it started in Antarctica, but it continues that cold feel. Like the Fourth Doctor's very off, isn't he? He's not all smiles, he's breaking people's necks and stuff like that. So it's a very cold story in terms of atmosphere. Yeah. Whereas, you know, you're going to smog-ridden London in Ghost of Growlstead to the hot climate of Africa. You're not going to capture that same, you know, alluring sort of storytelling what you get in Victorian, you know, London.
Yeah, I think you could do, because some connections were set up before, like the Prince and stuff, but just the way it's done and when it's done, it just feels just so unnecessary and so much of a jarring shift. Whereas something like Seeds of Doom, that feels like a natural shift into it. And I mean, Talon's Wen Chang kind of has that shift as well in the final 2 parts. We move away from Lee Sen Chang, and we move away from the theatre and such. But it still doesn't feel like there's a shift. It feels like we've naturally reached that point now and the story's turned. This doesn't feel like a natural point. This feels like the story doing a 180 on us for no reason. But hot take 3 from Stylish One. I never finished The Devil's Armada. Says it all. The only other time I've not finished Big Finish release was Young Winston from Church Years Volume 2. Oh wow.
Blimey.
So, yeah. All right. Yeah. And that one I would say is...
I don't think we're inspiring people to check it out.
No.
Yeah.
I think The Valley of Death would make a great mainstream Doctor Who movie from Stylish One.
Definitely has the power to be it. Yeah. Definitely does have the power.
Stylish One has also asked, would you like Philip Hinchcliffe Presents Volume 5? If so, what would you like to see in it? I think we'll save that for after we finish the tier list.
That's good.
So we're not ignoring your question there, Stylish One, because I know you like to get us on us about that if we do, but we are saving that for a little bit for a more cohesive time in our live stream. We don't want to suddenly do a 180 on you and change topics.
Yeah, we're not going to do a 6-part and randomly change. 75% free.
To be fair to the Ghosts of Growlstead, Leela did die. They had to use the Corona name, that name H. Oh dear, to resurrect her. Louise Jameson got a history for Leela to die for a few brief scenes. Yeah, that is true. And oddly enough, the Doctor seemed less upset about her actually dying than he did about her potentially dying in the Genesis Chamber. Like, Ghost of Growlstead is like, oh, she's gone now. I've got to go get a new companion. Oh, it's sad, but it's that Loki meme, isn't it? From Loki. Yes, very sad. Anyway, and but then Genesis Chamber, he's really getting furious about it. He's like, screw all of you. I'm leaving this planet after you killed Leela. You could deal with this yourselves. And I mean, yeah, you're sort of with the Doctor there. You're like, yes, get off this. Finish this story a couple of parts early, please.
I don't want to listen to any more. Speaking of, do we want to listen to any more? The Helm of Awe. Did it leave us in awe, or did it give us a headache?
First, I really struggled this one the first time. Like, I listened to the first 2 parts and I didn't go back to it for about a year. And I don't know why. But yeah, I re-listened to it earlier this week after God of Phantoms. And I think it holds up pretty well. It's nothing amazing, but I did get a lot more enjoyment out of it. I loved part 1, like the message from the Brigadier, I'm getting sent off to the island, the hostilities from the locals, and a lot of the character dynamics. I think it was all quite nice. I think this is one of the ones where there aren't too many characters, except for part 3. I think I did get a bit confused there. But yeah, for the most part, it all works quite well in part 1 and throughout after that with the characters on the island. I think they're all firmly established and work well enough. And then, yeah, I just love the atmosphere. It feels almost more season 13 than 14 in a lot of ways. Maybe that's just because the Scottish setting harkening to Terror of the Zygons. But yeah, I do get more of those vibes of it in that sense. And they've also got some Stones of Blood vibes with this weird like shift to a technology, like very high sci-fi side of things. But yeah, the Barbezans, I didn't mind as much on re-listen. I thought that was a interesting enough idea, but they weren't too amazing. I think there's a lot of confusing action in this story, though. Like, you very much do struggle to know what's going on. And the resolution to part 3 cliffhanger, I think, while it works well for its impact on Leela, it is still a bit confusing how it happens. But I won't go into too much about what that is because it's quite a big moment. Do you know what I'm on about, or have you?
I think so from memory.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't remember it until I re-listened, so I wouldn't blame you. But yeah, again, it's got that weird shift in part 3.
That's where it goes downhill for me, when it goes to like the sea cove and like the things there, and I'm just like, oh, what's this?
Yeah, I feel like part 4 also retreads a lot of what we've already done in parts 1 and 2 with like the hostile villagers and stuff. But yeah, I mean,
isn't it like the Doctor equivalent of like the Wicker Man in a way?
Yeah, I mean, you do have a lot of that with them burning the boats and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed like the boat race and stuff. I think it's quite wholesome part 1 for Leela and how she eats the porridge, but she doesn't mix any milk into it. She just has the like dry oats. That's quite a fun. Just little moments like that I quite enjoy.
Is that the one where the Fourth Doctor goes to like the sweet shop and like get sweets and stuff?
No, I don't think he does.
Oh, doesn't it? I'm thinking maybe it's another one.
You thinking of the Iron Legion?
Maybe I'm
Right,
thinking of that.
right at the
Yeah,
start of that, yeah. But there is a nice little shop in this story.
because that's one thing I will say. What I love about Helm of War, I love the setting of like the Shetland Isles
Hmm.
and exploring sort of the Viking sort of culture, and like the world building is superb. I love it, and it's one
Yeah,
story what I can really picture on
all set around the
location.
celebration stuff. That's it.
I do like that. That's one thing what I do love about the story.
One thing I will say, I mean, unless I missed something, there are a lot of scenes later on where it's hard to tell where they're set. Like you have this big celebration, but it's never clear. Is it indoors? Is it outdoors? Is it in like a town hall? Is it in like one of those pop-up like huge tent
Yeah,
marquee
yeah.
things you can get? They never really establish where it's meant to be.
Mm.
And at least not at the start. I think by the end I worked out it's maybe meant to be a town hall because there's definitely like go out the back and stuff, and it seems like there's doors and things or a pub. But yeah, it is a um bit of a confusing time that, which is yeah. But overall I will say I enjoyed it much more than I expected to when I went back into it.
In terms of placement, I'd say it's a 7 out of 10, maybe.
Yeah, it's another one for the you could sell that thing doctor category for me.
Yeah, I was thinking, where do you think it started to go wrong?
Ah.
But I'll agree. Yeah,
I think it redeems itself in part 4 for me. And even at part 3 wasn't that bad, but it's just a lot of confusing action again.
yeah, that is true.
Like there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, but you're never given much context for it. You're
Speaking
just
of confused,
yeah, here we go.
God, the Phantom.
Anyways,
Release.
we were so hyped a while back.
Oh, we had the cover. It was super exciting. I was like, you know what, this could be a really good one. Then the trailer happened. I was like, oh, it's a bit messy. Normally the Big Finish trailers aren't the greatest because we're getting snapshots of an audio,
audio is hard to make a trailer for.
which is no disrespect to Big Finish at all.
No.
But then you get the actual story and listen to part 1. The first 50 minutes of part 1, I was like, this is really great. The world building of the sort of stars behind in front of the clouds, that was wonderful. Like this nice sort of charred forest. But then you've got the sort of a trope of there being a disturbance in the vortex, and that's a little trope what's in Foe from the Future as well. And I think Helm of War in
Helm
a
of
way.
War it is there too.
So you start to get the little tropes, but then you get sort of the midway through episode 1, and there's just a moment where you're like, "What? Have I missed a scene?" Like,
yeah, I knew the one you were on about when I listened because you listened to part 1 before me.
And I felt like, did I fall asleep in this like for 2 minutes and I missed a whole scene? But no, I didn't. I rewind. I was like, no, I've not missed it. It just introduces the characters in such a bizarre way.
I lost track of a lot of the characters at the start. Like Hookham, I didn't quite know what he was meant to be at first. It feels weird because like you have the general and then you've got the preacher character.
Yeah.
The reverends. And then in between the two, you've got Hookham, who doesn't quite fit in with either. And a story like this, you feel like you need one or the other, if that makes sense, to fill that role. But for some reason, they introduce a third character in between, and it just sort of shifts that whole dynamic off. And again, it's far too many characters, more than the story needs.
You're spending, I'd say, a good majority of a scene just going, okay, well, what character is it? What relationship is it to the story? And I think the problem I had with this story is I was just listening to it for the sake of it, just to say that I've listened to it. And that's not a way you want to be enjoying a story, because you've got the threat of the loggerheads, that great sort of tension within the story, because you've got this sort of Western style sort of town, haven't you?
Yeah, I love that. And I love that within the world building. And again, a lot of the stuff I like about this story is more in the concept behind it, and I can see what they were going for. Like, I love how it's it's more of a British Western, isn't it? Where you've got this frontier town on this frontier world, technology's downgrading. You got the saloon and stuff, and all the bar dances. You have these frontier forces coming for them. You have this convent, which is sort of like the natives in a way. And then like you've got the mines and stuff, and how they all dried up a long while ago. and there's something lurking in the mines. You've got the ghosts around. Like, there's brilliant concepts here. I think that's what I was loving in part 1, just finding out about all this, wondering, oh, where's it going to go? But it just goes into such a messy direction overall, and yeah, I just, again, it's that thing of characters' priorities seem weird, seem unfocused.
Like, I would say Leela has I'd say this is a good story for Leela, because I think this puts Leela in an awkward position, because she's very much the guardian of the Doctor, because this, has, not a spoiler, the Time Lords are involved because they're on the cover. But this story somewhat plays into like the face of evil trope, which it's fine, but it's just leads to some quite confusing little build-up bits with like the Fourth Doctor and like the anvil and that. Like, those bits seem so confusing.
Yeah. And then speaking of tropes, you've also got the trope of the villain of the piece being like manipulating someone as a voice in their heads, something that was used in Helm as well, and Devil's Armada. Yeah, Flindor inside Charles Hookham's head. And I think Flindor as well, I won't reveal what he was, but that was an interesting concept, just not done interestingly, sadly.
Yeah, Flindor, if you've seen The League of Gentlemen, he sounds like a very Poundland version of Papa Lazarou. Which
me, he sounded a bit like the 11.
No, he just sounded like, "Hello, Dave. I'm gonna." Yeah, that's a terrible impression, but yeah, I just there are moments within this story where I'm like, I love this, and then the next scene comes along, I don't like it. It just has peppered moments of, oh, that's really nice, and then it just, like, I don't like episode 4 where they're just starting to evacuate the city and they're being attacked. You're like, where's this come from? Like, there's been no build up. Like, yeah, they defeated the loggerheads, but then part 3, they just sort of in recovery, and then there's no build up to like the loggerheads are on their way, and then suddenly they're attacking the town and there's an evacuation. Like, it just feels very clunky.
Yeah, there's also no real setup for the loggerheads in general, is there? Like, despite all the brilliant world building, they're just there, really. There's no exploration of them. We never get anything from their side of things, which might be a bit of a relief, because that'd be even more characters to keep track of. But at the same time, it feels a bit odd, and it feels like, could you maybe have merged a convent and the loggerhead somehow and had like the native be the antagonist force or something?
I feel like it could balance it like Colony in Space. How you've got the colony there, and then you've got IMC and all that sort of stuff. Like, you feel like it could have, the loggerheads are this corporation. I know we're getting more down the Pertwee lines, but I think they could have maybe used that a bit more.
Yeah, it's just got a bit of way to make it work better than it did. And I think that's the thing. There's a lot of good stuff in this story conceptually. I just don't know where it all went wrong in the writing. Like, loads of stuff got lost somewhere, and it just doesn't gel together much at all.
It's just a shame, because, like you said, there are moments where this story really excels, and it just flops.
Yeah, I don't. Like, part of me is tempted to re-listen to it just to see where it's gone wrong, but at the same time, it's a big commitment. I can't be bothered.
I feel like I want to re-listen to it just to get a proper grounding on it. So I feel like I've just listened to it for the sake of it. I've just passively listened to it just to say that I've listened to it, because it's Tom.
Yeah, part 6, I was definitely just slogging through just for the sake of finishing it. Yeah, I mean, part 6 as well, you have like a fake out ending halfway through. And then, oh no, the villain's not defeated, actually. He's still going. And that was just such a, for fuck's sake, moment.
I want it over.
Yeah, that's the...
Like, it's one of those things where we're sort of people who are like, yes, give us 6-parters. But if they're like this, you're like, I do not want it.
No, like, I want a 6-parter that justifies being a 6-parter, and hopefully some upcoming things like the Auton Infinity does that. But here, it just doesn't do it. It at least doesn't have a weird tonal shift at all. I'll give it that. It all feels reasonably consistent over 6 episodes.
I think tonally for me, it seems more season 15, 16 than 12 to 14, personally.
I'd say it feels 12 to 14 for me.
It gives me sort of a Ribos operation, maybe because of the West Country accent, and it reminds me of those two sort of con artist characters who are trying to con the graph with the Scrinstone. But yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah. I think also a lot of the time it feels like characters know things that we don't, or we're just trying to get a grasp on. But the script doesn't know that we don't know them. The script sort of assumes, oh yeah, they'll pick up on this. Again, it's like it needs a little bit more spoon feeding. And that's not something I would say often, but here it really needs it.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's the script or the way it's been edited, why it just feels so messy. I just don't know. Like, I'm not one to diss for sound design, because that's one thing what I love about this is that the music is pure Dudley.
That's very true. I do love the sound design for this one. But then, yeah, I think music, I love sound design. I think it does work most of the time. I think it is just the way the script's written. Like, the sound design's doing the best it can to portray what's going on. But when you have characters stood around for about 10 minutes discussing things, the Doctor's life being threatened about 5 times within that, but never actually anything happening to him. Like, that's pretty much what Part 6 is, isn't it? Like
pretty much.
Part. It's just all such a mess. And yet, like I was saying about the fake out ending followed by more, what was the point in that? Like, when you have a fake out ending, usually there's a reason for it. Here, it's just to drag the story out even longer.
It does it because the story requires it.
Yeah, but you could easily have ended there with the villain defeated, and you're not having any plot threads not forgotten. It's not like in Last of the Colophon, where that sort of had a fake out ending, but actually he'd deceived them. The villain that played by Gareth Thomas. What was his name? The blind one.
Yeah, it's not Morak.
Yeah, it is Morak.
Oh, it's a Morak.
Yeah,
like
that rings a bell. Yeah, like in that story, he's deceived them, and actually he snuck onto the ship afterwards. This is similar to that, but there's just no reason for it. Like, you could feel like there was something missing in that story. It felt like there was a loose end. Here, it just feels like it's done for the sake of it, just to drag the story out even more, which it did not need because it was already long enough. And I was struggling, and I just wanted it to be over. But it kept going and kept going, and then had a nice scene at the end between the Doctor and Leela, I would admit, as they're walking off.
One thing I will say, it does have a nice continuity reference to Helm of War, so it could be, if you wanted to listen to it as a season, you could, but I wouldn't recommend it personally.
No, I think especially not with the very inconsistent quality of these. I think you asked the question once, do you prefer this or season 15?
Yeah, this is the question, because this, I don't know if you're including Foe from the Future.
Yeah, I think you were more just referring to Philip Hinchcliffe himself, because that is 26 episodes worth. That is a full season.
So out of that, would you rather have season 15 or this? Because this, I guess, would you class it as, if Philip Hinchcliffe continued, this is what we would get? Because if this is what he was giving us, then I'd say he left at the right time.
Yeah, I think again though, it's like Robert Holmes was still there, so we probably would have still got a lot of different stuff and good stuff. I think we would have gotten Horror Fang Rock still, I can imagine.
That fits. An Image of the Fendal as well, because that's by Chris Boucher as well.
Yeah. But yeah, who knows about the other stuff. Maybe some makers as well, because that was very much Bob Holmes himself wanting to do that. I don't. Maybe Philip would have said, no, don't do that. But I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird one, because that is very Graham Williams, even though it's very much born of Robert Holmes.
It's strange, because I feel this feels more like a season 15 to me than anything Hinchcliffe does, though it has hallmarks. Like, I think Darkness of Glass for series 4, Fourth Doctor story, probably feels more like a Hinchcliffe story than some of these stories.
Yeah, I'm sort of for God of Phantoms ranking, I'm sort of leaning more towards where do you think I started to go wrong?
Yeah,
Because
because
just conceptually, there's a lot I like.
Yeah, because I don't think it's as bad as the Genesis Chamber, because
No.
I think those first 15 minutes just showed a lot of promise,
Yeah.
and you get to I'll be honest, part 4, I got really invested in the story again, and I was like, oh, when the Time Lord was introduced, like, oh yeah, this is really good. This is a nice little spin to take on the story.
There are moments where it picks up again, aren't there?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is really good. And then as soon as we drift away from like the supporting characters who I genuinely don't care, and I genuinely don't know what their motives were, which is bad.
I liked Wilbur Grits. I think he was a nice, fun little side character. But again, he's just a little side character. He's just there to add a little bit of levity to the story.
Like, I think you said to me that the characters in Fright Motif, are way more memorable than what these characters are in a 6-episode one, and that's an hour. Fright Motif.
Very true. Well, another thing about Wilbur Grits, just because I'm on that Fort Train, I liked his little like team up with the Snowan, who's like the head of the convent, and I just loved that idea of the village hobo going mad and ending up becoming friends with the outcasted leader of the tribe. And I liked that meeting happens off screen. Actually, it's just funny these characters come along together, and you think they shouldn't work, but they do. It's very much that Robert Holmes thing of these two conflicting characters end up coming together. Ultimately, the story doesn't do anything with them, but they go their separate ways pretty quickly. But I liked that little moment for what it was. Again, it's like conceptually, there's stuff to like here.
The Soet reminds me of a character from the Ribos operation. I think Binro. That sort of hermit who sort of hides in like the town. I'm trying to get a photo of him so people know what I'm talking about. It's like who you mentioned. Binro.
Yeah.
Where is he? Am I going to get a photo of Binro?
Yeah, and also, while you're looking up that, Charles Hookham as well.
There we go.
I think some sympathetic stuff comes out for him later on, like towards part 4
with the machine.
I started to quite like his character for what it was, but it was so hard before that to get a grasp on what his character was meant to be, and because you had the whole voices in his head thing, and he goes all mad whenever the doctor's near. It's just it's like mysteries that are meant to intrigue you, but are just more annoying until they're finally resolved is the problem. And his character is only really at that point when you realise what's going on that I start to care for him, I guess, a little bit. But yeah.
And it shouldn't take 4 episodes to make an endearing character, should it?
No, it shouldn't. It should be clear-ish what's going on, but still an element of mystery there, not a complete confusing mess. But yeah, I sound more frustrated about the God of Phantoms than I do about Genesis Chamber. Maybe that's slightly because it's more recent, so I can say more.
It's in the memory, isn't it?
Yeah, but I also think it's because I see more potential in this one. I feel like it could have been amazing, and I feel like I've been robbed of a good story. Genesis Chamber, I just felt like I had a rubbish story thrown at me.
Yeah, it's not worth your time.
Yeah. Nothing took the do we have the right? We didn't have the right.
No, we did not have the right. It's interesting because we're not normally critical of Big Finish. We're people who normally praise it and sing many positive things,
and we've tried. We have said a lot of positives about this here. Even Gods of Phantoms, we've had our positives.
It's just a bit of a shame because, like you say in Gods of Phantom, there is potential there. It's just that the execution never quite lives up to the same standard as what the story's trying to do. And it's just amazing that Hinchcliffe can produce some of the best Doctor Who, and then you get to this range and you have that high expectation of quality, and it's all over the place.
Yeah, and all over the place within stories as well. Like I was saying about the Ghost of Growlstairs, I loved parts 1 to 4. That was some of the best Big Finish I've listened to, and then it just all goes downhill suddenly.
And we've listened to a lot of Big Finish.
Yeah, we really have. Oh god. Would you say it's one of your least favorite ranges overall?
I think God of Phantoms has definitely made me question that. But then this is the thing: if they release another one, I will buy it.
Yeah, I will get into that same hype, like cycle of like, oh, more Philip Hinchcliffe, more Fourth Doctor. I'm excited for this. Oh, this seems like a good story idea. Oh, what a cover!
Yeah,
What a trailer! And then it's out, and oh, what a part 1, or what a first 15 minutes of a part 1, followed by no, thank you.
it's weird because God of Phantoms first 3 episodes, yeah, it has that sluggish feel to it, but then it does slightly pick up as it goes on, but not by much. It's consistent. I'll give it that. Like you said earlier.
Yeah, just having it. Yeah, Stylish One says the God of Phantoms Part 6 lured you into a false sense of security before tricking you and continuing on. It really did. It sadly did.
What was Stylish One's question about, like, the future of Hinchcliffe? Since we're at the end of the tier list.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a quick check to see if he's had any other comments on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That child in the Ghosts of Grass would be traumatized for life. She was tortured, kidnapped, and thought her family were dead. I can't say I remember that.
Straight to the asylum that girl went.
Yeah. Charlotte from the Village is my favourite one-off character in any Doctor Who story. She is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, she's very wholesome. Very wholesome.
Ah, that's good. Have you seen the alternative covers for the Foe from the Future? They're so different to the main covers, and I actually prefer them, and they even have Charlotte on them. They're online if you look for them. Is that going to be on the back of your CDs as well? Have you got that there?
Not with me.
Oh,
they're in another room. I mean, I can have a quick Google actually.
Yeah.
Let's have a little live Google. Doctor Who Lost Stories. I'm probably going to get Return of a Cyberman now and Doomsday Contract.
Yeah. Because I know they were a bit different, weren't they? Okay, I found one of them for disc 3. That seems fairly similar to what we had anyway. Just a bit rearranged.
Just have a little Google.
Oh, disc 2 I found as well. Yeah, I can't track down disc 1. It's a bit... But yeah, I'll believe you, Stylish One. It's weird seeing what's her name? Jane Slavin on the cover for The Valley of Death.
Yeah.
And it was weird hearing her in Helmivore, actually.
You're like, I know what you become.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't seem to find them covers at the minute.
We'll take your word for it, Stylish One.
Take your word.
Yeah. There's a whole Tumblr page with the free covers on them. Just seeing if he's had anything else to say about Philip Hinchcliffe. Now back. So yeah, we'll go to that question. Would you like a Hinchcliffe Presents Volume 5? If so, what would you like to see in it?
Different companion. Leela fatigue is real, lads.
Yeah, I was sort of hyped for a bit more Leela before God of Phantoms, but yeah. Now I would just like some Sadie and Tom on there. I know you would quite like Harry in there as well, but I'd just like Fourth Doctor and Sarah, get those two together for a Hinchcliffe story. That would be interesting to me.
I mean, I wouldn't mind one story with Harry, the other with Sarah, just so you balance it out, really.
Yeah.
But I think we need to move away from the tropes of ghosts
and
demons.
Companions dying.
Companions. I think
voices in heads.
It needs to go, because Hinchcliffe could do some weird, wacky stuff, but it just doesn't do that with the range. It kind of stays safe with the Gothic horror, era, so that's what you'll get. But it doesn't need to be that all the time. You got. I know I crapped on it, but Planet of Evil, it's so sort of far removed from like the gothic horror, though it's still fairly horror-ish with like the antimatter creature and like the character transforming and that with like the antimatter stuff. But just a bit of something a bit different, maybe like a space opera. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be true. Just freshen it up somehow. I think even though it plays it safe, weirdly, it doesn't feel very safe. If that,
I think
like,
as
it
well,
feels very confusing and weird in the way it's told.
this might sound a bit odd, but maybe get somebody other than Mark Platt writing them as well.
Yeah, because I think him and Philip do have quite a good relationship, don't they? But it would be interesting to see if maybe that could help a bit. Yeah, like John Dorney, perhaps. He'd be a good one.
Oh yeah, John Dorney would be interesting to see.
Yeah. Because certainly I've noticed a lot of the problems I have with the Philip Hinchcliffe Presents range do crop up in other Mark Platt's written stories as well. But he's also really good at world building still, so
yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. Mr. Monk Cactus, yo lads, I'm thinking of making a new video where I throw Henry the Hoover out of a helicopter.
I'm sure that'll be viral.
Yeah. Oh, God. That's like is it Timothy Coombe who did Ambassadors of Death?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like his level of over the top budget, isn't it? Getting a helicopter there for some.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Would you like to see Eighth Doctor Lost Stories adaptating the proposed series after the movie? Is that the Leakley Bible?
I imagine so. I think that's best left.
Yeah,
forgotten.
I think there are some things that should just be left a mystery.
And I think those are like weird adaptations of stories that already happened, and that was also sort of more meant to be a reboot than a continuation. So I don't know how much. I don't think there was really much about them either. I think it was like what we've got is what they came up with, just these basic ideas for possible stories, along with an overarching thing about the Doctor versus the Master on Gallifrey and stuff.
Yeah, and it was sort of like a rehash of stories we've already got. I say that as Big Finish adapt, Revenge of the Cybermen and the Ark in Space and Genesis of the Daleks, but yeah. It's not like we've not had those stories.
Yeah. I feel like the third story, New Unit Assembled, is missing some dialogue. At one point, Kate is attacked by dinosaurs and seems to talk to Osgood, yet we can't hear Osgood for a bit. Then we do at the end. Maybe. It's been a long time since I listened to that.
That was the story I was like, I'm not continuing listening to any more of that box set.
Yeah, that was a bit of a struggle.
Why are there few 10th Doctor audio? Why are there few German 10th Doctor audios? Was an experiment or something? The Whittaker era just being slapped on. They look really weird. The logo is great, but not on those covers.
It's because it's still got the sidebar, but the logo like goes right across the top.
I think it was just to appeal for the German market, I guess, just to test the water.
Yeah, I mean they did do 2 volumes of it, so
I think
it looks like that one's died out a bit.
Yeah, we're not getting Dalek Universe, the German version.
No. Exterminieren.
Oh, that'll be a completely different experience.
Yeah. I wonder what that's like in the German dub of
Journey's End.
Stolen Earth. Yeah, Journey's End.
It'd probably just be the same. We're like, oh, what? They're in German? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Favorite Third Doctor Adventures covers out of volume 1 to 4. Maybe it's between 2 and 4 for me.
See, I would say 4, but it's got Rufus Hound on the cover. I'd say for me, it's got to be volume 3, maybe.
Oh, that one feels a bit empty to me.
I don't know. I'm not picking Rufus Hound.
Oh, you could see where the sidebar limited them, especially like when it was more than one story on a cover.
Yeah, that is true.
Like they're able to fit much more when it comes to the later covers.
With hindsight, thoughts on Third Doctor Adventures Volume 3. Conquest of Far, was it a story what needed to happen? Not really, no.
I've softened on it a bit though.
I've softened on it. I do enjoy it, but I sort of don't like the idea of it just being a continuation from Planet of the Daleks. Like
it could have worked fine completely separately. Like remove the first couple of scenes, and there's no reason it needs to follow on from Planet of the Daleks.
Yeah, like the gateway is a good idea. I love the sort of spaceship sort of chase sequence, which I think is very authentic to season 10. Like Frontier in Space is a lot of spaceship chases, I guess.
You got like the President of Earth and stuff as well, haven't you?
Yeah, and then you've got. I think it's a good story for Joe, and I think that it's one of those rare cases where Nick Briggs goes, "Okay, I'm going to channel a '70s Dalek voice, not like Day of the Daleks, but a bit Roy Skelton in Planet of the Daleks, and
like
sort of
this thing. Dalek voice, kind of
a bit David Graham-esque in a way."
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's quite the one. I think I might be more going for an '80s voice with that one.
Oh, a bit of a Brian Miller.
Yeah, why? I know the one you're talking about, but I can't quite.
I'm not doing an impression. I'm ill. Yeah. And what's the other story in that set actually?
Storm of the Horrifacts. Andrew Smith, a dud for him for me.
Yeah, like I can see what they were trying to riff off the Sea Devils with it being another Navy story. I swear there's a reference to Captain Hart in it from memory.
There might have been,
but it's been a long time.
It doesn't land for me. Again, it's one of those ones you can feel the absence of the Brigadier.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with like the first 4 volumes, that they just become a bit repetitive in a way. But you are missing that Brig and unit family,
Yeah, I think some of them work. Like the Hidden Realm in Volume 2, that works without the Brig because that is similar to the Sea Devils in a way where it's the Doctor and Joe just off on a little jaunt.
Yeah.
Same with Rise of the New Humans. But yes, Storm of the Horrifacts, that feels very much like one where the Brigadier should be there, but isn't for whatever reason. Any recommendations from 151 to 200 of the monthly range? Masters of Earth.
Masters of Earth, yeah. That's a good one. What else would I say? I'd say the 5th Doctor trilogy, which is, I think, Eldred Must Die, Lady of Mercia, and Prisoners of Fate.
Oh.
I'm just going to... Fanfare for the Common Men. That's a lot of fun if you like your Beatles. And it's a good vinyl release. I'm just going to have a look on the main range.
I quite like the Space Raids as well from that trilogy.
Oh, would you have the 63 trilogy?
Yeah. Curse of Davros.
Oh, yeah, good one.
And Fourth Wall, I'd say, as well. I do like that.
Silver Turks are good. We're an Isle, I remember enjoying, actually.
We're an Isle, I really... Similar to Ghost of Growlstead, I really loved the first 2 parts. Like, some of the best we finished I've heard. Some of really eerie moments. I remember being utterly creeped out by, like, the scene on the lake with Flip.
Oh, yeah.
But then it sort of goes into technobabble, transmat, mess, blandness with part 3 and 4.
Which is a shame. I'm just going to load up other monthly range stories, just so I don't forget any. I think Silver Turk's the obvious one I've probably said.
Yeah. Would you recommend that whole trilogy?
Yeah, I would say, because it's a very different feeling. It's a fresh, exciting McGann trilogy, I'd say. I did enjoy that one.
Yeah. Also, actually, the New East Space trilogy's there as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good one. I'd say, yeah, Older Perry trilogy I'd recommend as well.
Yeah, just go for
We Are the Daleks, that's 200. That's a good one. No, it's just before. Got Rani Elite. I'm just loading them up now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend the Hector trilogy. Would not recommend that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've listened to the Black and White TARDIS arc, then Afterlife will be a good one. It's got one of McCoy's best moments.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably about all of them.
Maybe Wrong Doctors just experienced 2 Sixth Doctors.
That one's one that's really raved over, but I enjoyed it, but I didn't quite get the hype on the first listen.
I enjoy it for the idea, but the story about these planet estate agents, not so good. But you enjoy it for the multi-doctor aspect of the same Doctor, and I'd love them to do it with the 12th Doctor in a way.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
You have the right to put the foe from future up higher.
Too late now. You've done it.
Too late. It's done.
Set in stone. We can't uncarve it.
Unless there's another Philip Hinchcliffe release, and we will change this tier list.
Yeah.
Doctor Who Home, one day I'll be able to afford resets. Yeah, I think they're on sale. They're going out of print, so if you can get the cash, then try and get them off. They'll be on sale. So
yeah,
pick them up on sale. That's probably the best way.
I think they go down quite a bit now, like probably about 20 quid for Philip Hinchcliffe Volume 1, which is 20 to 25, which is pretty good for 10 episodes worth of stuff. And maybe you'll be able to vibe with it a bit more than we did.
Yeah, hopefully if you get it cheaper, it doesn't sting you as much.
Yeah, because certainly some people have found a way to get along with these stories, and I'm envious of them in a way, because I do want to enjoy it. But I think, again, that's what stings even more, isn't it? The fact that you really do want to enjoy it. Not that you go into any piece of media wanting to hate it, but I think with a lot of new series Doctor Who, we're sort of at that point of acceptance where we know it's not for us. With Philip Hinchcliffe, this is something that should be for us, but isn't.
Like, it's weird because 1970s Doctor Who is my favourite, and yet I just cannot vibe with, and I can't click into the Philip Hinchcliffe Presents, which is just bizarre, and that's what pains me with it.
Favourite Doom Coalition box set cover? Doom Coalition 3.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Okay.
And then continuing from Doom Coalition, we have Ravenous. Individual cover from Ravenous, but I'd say Ravenous too.
Oh, I think this is individual cover from each.
Oh, individual cover. Oh gosh. Ooh,
we've got to remember them now.
That's the other. I would say How to Make a Killing in Time Travel for Volume 1 for me.
Yeah, it's an alright one. I'm just getting them up now on my phone.
I think you've got it all prepared.
Yeah. I quite like World of Damnation, actually.
Okay.
Volume 2.
Better watch out.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. Fairy Tale of Salzburg's good, but it's got like that weird green effect at the top for no reason. Like the crystals. They move on from the crystals in Volume 3, thankfully. I'd say Deep Time Frontier.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think Doom Coalition, maybe Companion Piece.
That's nice.
But I don't really like the Ravenous free covers, to be honest.
None of them jump out. They're all very much characters in a line. That's what jumped out about Deep Time Frontier, because it's at least got a monster on it.
Yeah, which is probably my favourite story of that box set, actually. Oh no, Companion Piece. Sorry, tell a lie. Yeah.
No. Ravenous 4, weirdly, the cover art seems to take a bit of a step back in terms of how it's made. But in terms of like composition, it feels much more interesting, at least. Like how they're arranged in the sub. Especially like the first two, Whisper and Planet of Dust, it feels like it's a quality drop. I
do like Planet of Dust, though. Maybe because I like the story.
Yeah, Planet of Dust is a nice cover. I was leaning towards that. Day of the Master, it's hard to say because each different part, it's very much, you're meant to view it as one whole. The two covers, because like characters are left out of one. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if one on its own works well enough for me to say it's my favourite. So yeah, I'd go Planet of Dust.
And then favourite individual cover art for Doom Coalition box set. Oh, I don't know if I remember these.
No. I think
Red Lady for number 1.
Yeah.
And then Volume 2, probably Beachhead, because of Vord.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
and then
Volume 3 had a lot of good covers. I'd say one of the middle two, but I'm not sure which.
Yeah, the Clockmaker one. Yeah, one of those. And then
the one with River on it, I'd go for.
Yeah, and then
Volume 4,
maybe Ship in a Bottle.
That's a nice one. I'd quite. Oh, you're not gonna like Angel Time of Angels, are you? Whatever. What's it
That's
called?
why I didn't pick it.
Rufus Hound's on there.
I was like, nope, not picking that one.
Side of the Angels. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
There we go. That's Doom Coalition.
Yeah. What have we got next? The alternative cover for disc 1 on Though Has Charlotte Added. Disc 2 has more Phantophogan, and disc 3 only has half the house, one Phantophogan. I'm probably saying that very wrong, aren't I? And Jalnik on the side.
Oh yeah. I think that's from when we were looking at the other covers, wasn't it? Trying to find them.
Yeah. If they want, they could make a sequel to Ghost of Grafstead about the Corona. Wait.
That's yeah.
I mean, they renamed the ship in Shadow of the Sun, didn't they?
Oh yeah. But more on that later.
Yeah, that'll be in a tier list coming up.
That'll be another. Yeah, we're doing quite a few Fourth Doctor tier lists, aren't we?
Yeah.
Not biased at all or anything, but it's just the way we plan these things. You were asking for different type of story in the range. Wasn't Genesis Chamber a different type of story compared to the others?
We're asking for a good, different type of story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take your points on this one.
The physical copies of Fourth Doctor Lost Stories and Hinchcliffe 1 could be classed as a weapon. They're massive. So can the comic adaptations as well. That's a chunky set, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, when you look back at that? It's weird just looking back at the 4-disc ones, thinking that used to be standard, but now that feels fit compared to what we get. It
feels weird when you get like an Eccleston or Dalekino. It's like, this is wrong. This is chunky.
Oh yeah, even a free, even a 3-disc one now feels thick, and that used to be the thinnest.
Yeah, mental.
Would you buy the 9th and 10th Doctor Chronicles if they were on sale? I feel like they'll be coming out of print soon. I probably wouldn't. How about you? Would you get what's going on around here then?
I don't know, because I watched Mr. TARDIS video on it, on like the pre-Eccleston Big Finish, and I was like, all right, okay, sounds all right, but I don't know if I could commit. Like, if I saw it cheap and it was like a £5, then yeah, I'd pick it up. But I think, yeah, if it's cheap, if it's like a clearance sale for like 99p, then I'd be like, all right, go on then.
Yeah. Well,
but
I think there might be one story in volume in the 10th Doctor one that interests me, but yeah, I don't. Just the range itself, I think I'm staying away from.
Yeah, we've got Tennant and Eccleston now, so it's not a instant buy.
No.
Why do some BF covers from 2018, like Escape from Caldor and An Ideal World, have weird sideboards at the top? Was an experiment for the new layout. I think that they were one of the first, weren't they? 2018. I think even on the disc art they had the crystal motif, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it was just like experimenting, seeing what they can do. And it's Escape from Caldor, that sort of stuck with the Doom Coalition ones, didn't it? Where it's not quite a straight cut like the Ideal Worlds and Crash of UK 2101 is, but instead it's like this scratched away motif, isn't it? Like you've got a penny and you've scratched the middle of the cover.
Yeah, that's very true for Ravenous Free.
Yeah. Which I like that design.
Yeah. To think that we had more Big Finish stories with the Vardens and Frobisher. That's insane. Yeah, it's insane. The Vardens seem to be like Big Finish's go-to surprise monster.
Have they turned up recently, other than Charlotte Pollard?
They have appeared recently in one of them.
Oh.
They had the Varden invasion, didn't they?
Oh yeah, the Vardan Invasion of Earth. Sorry, I was thinking of the
And then a
What are
third
they?
Doctor story.
The Virons, is it? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
the
yeah.
What? That's what I was confused with. So yeah, Varden's completely different. Yeah, they have turned up quite a bit recently. Yeah, they
Third Doctor story as well.
Screaming Ghost,
Yeah,
of
Screamer
Ghost.
Ghost. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Varden Invasion of Earth, I think, was the most recent. So that is true. They've made good use of them though. They've turned them into a interesting.
Oh yeah, especially
villain.
Wave of Destruction. That was a complete.
Oh yeah, that was a surprise, wasn't it?
Mm. I've not spoiled it. I realized as soon as I was like, have I spoiled it?
It's been out for 6 years.
It's okay.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who: The Meglos Adventures, Volume 1 of 6.
That sounds painfully accurate.
Would you buy a vinyl of the Silurian? Speaking of painful, would you buy a vinyl of the Silurian soundtrack? You can hear those sound effects and stings in all their glory, along with those infamous music cues.
Yeah, I would buy it.
Oh,
just to annoy the neighbours. Just so
Yeah.
they're outside, put that on, like, right, peace and quiet now.
There we go.
Yeah. Thoughts on the monthly range E-Space trilogy? Love it. Mistfall, wonderful. Very short story from memory. I think episode 1's like 20 minutes, 19 minutes. So it's a very short story in a way. And then Equilibrium, we were all dreading that story, but that became a very pleasant listen.
I love that one. That might be my favourite of the trilogy.
And then you have the very bleak Entropy Plague. But what's lovely about that trilogy is that they are a trilogy. They all interlink, which is great.
Yeah, and it's sort of, with 200s coming up, and like it was 201, We Are the Daleks was viewed as a fresh start for the monthly range. Obviously, Big Finish itself has done a new fresh start now, but like you could feel that one felt like wrapping up loose ends, didn't it? With the Nissa arc coming to a close, it very much had that feeling of the end of an era,
which is fine.
Yeah. Mr. Monk Cactus, like, we don't even need to answer. Stylish got our back. Yes, Stylish has got our back.
The questions. He's got the questions. Do you think we'll hear more from Tulloch? The Silurian seems like a pretty major character in Earth's history, and never got mentioned again in the main universe, not counting Unbound. Yeah, I mean, give us Tulloch. We need more.
Who is Tulloch? I've never heard of this.
Isn't it the main Silurian in Silurians from memory? I think it's in the Target book, I think, from memory.
Because they just called him like, I am the leader now.
You stupid apes.
You have like the scientist, you have tall Silurian and elder Silurian, and I think that's it for description.
Pretty
much casting, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, I am the leader now.
By the way, did I hear the new B&M sets are shipping in late or something?
Apparently they're arriving. They're having deliveries of them now, but I don't think they've hit any shop floor yet. I mean, it could be any day now. So you could get your Sensorite and Ian Chesterton figure and Dalek. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Favorite Fourth Doctor Lost Stories individual cover? I guess that's from the box set.
I was going to say Return of the Sun.
Yeah, I was going to say Return. I guess you got to say probably the first one of Valley of Death with Jane Slavin, Tom Baker, and the plane. I think that's the cover.
Say that. Yeah. Thoughts on the Time War 3 individual covers? To me, they're probably one of the worst set of individual covers. They're so bland and boring. I don't remember them feeling that bad, but I don't really have any strong opinions on a mile away.
Well, you don't like that set full stop.
No, but I don't know. Famished Lands, that feels a bit of a weird cover.
State of Bliss is a bit bare.
Yeah. I think Fugitive of Time and War Valley they're a step up though.
That is true. Thoughts on Jenny? Oh, sorry. Carry on.
I was just going to say, Volume 2 individual covers overall feel worse to me.
You've got Dr. Ogron, though.
Yeah, but even then, just like the format of the cover, it just feels so messy.
Thoughts on the Jenny individual covers? They're all right. They're not Big Finish's finest work, but yeah.
Well, it's probably one of the last spin-offs to have individual covers, isn't it? I think
Yeah,
Rose must be the final one.
Yeah, Dimension Canon, yeah.
Yeah, which is bizarre to think they lasted that long, but Legacy of Time didn't get them. Thoughts on unit revisitations? A pretty good two-parter. A pretty good what is it? Follow-up after that with I can't remember what the story's called now.
Oh, the Mind of Evil one.
No, the one in between the two-parter and that.
Oh, is that the one where it gives Gemma Red gives the like best performance out there?
Yeah, it's a very strong performance from her. Breach of Trust. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I quite like that story actually. I've seen some people hating on it, but I think it's a interesting little one, and certainly one that works well as a one-parter. Yeah, I do. It has some strong performances in it. I'd say I probably prefer that to Hosts of the Wirren. That sort of got a bit messy for me and a bit over the top. Sorry, Chris Chapman, but yeah. And then the fourth one, Open the Box, a highlight of the box set, really good stuff. Really interesting character exploration there, and just a great sequel to The Mind of Evil. Like, you know, I love that story, so I'm already predisposed to like a sequel to it, but it builds on that perfectly. Does some interesting ideas with it, with like this spiritualist retreat, and yeah, I think it is worth getting for that story alone, maybe if it's on sale.
I've not listened to it, so I cannot comment on it.
Yeah, I'd say Open the Box might be my favorite unit.
I just think of
individual
Kinder.
episode. Yeah,
he can't mend people.
no.
Favorite monthly range cover from 2020.
Ooh.
It's not my favorite release of the year by any stretch of the imagination, but I really like Time Apart.
Yeah, I was thinking that one as well. Cry of the Vulturess, though, that's another strong cover.
Yeah, because it's that weird blend of classic and new with like the Empress from Empress of Mars.
And
And then you've got the great visual of the Vulturess itself.
Yeah. I think also Grey Man of the Mountain, that's a nice cover.
Or Pimpernel as well, I do like.
I feel like that one's a bit messier.
Maybe.
But I don't mind it. Yeah, I think Cry of the Vulturess is going to get my vote. Yeah, it was a good year for covers for the most part.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Lovecraft Invasion was a bit of a naff cover, though.
Scorched Earth, I like the use of shadow on it.
Yeah, like that's one of those ones where simple but effective.
Yeah, it felt like a very early main range story, like the Marin Conspiracy. It gave me that feel to it.
Yeah, like you got. It's weird how Constance has been on less covers.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like Cry of the
on 11.
Yeah. Like she's on Cry of the Vulturess. She's not on Scorched Earth. She's kind of on Lovecraft Invasion, I think. I'm pretty sure that isn't that her like in the red like cloud area, or is it not?
I think I'll have to have a look actually because
You can't see the mouth or any hit there, but certainly not prominent. And then she's not on Colony of Fear, End at the Beginning, or
the 11.
The 11, no. But yeah, that's sort of a bit of a tangent there.
Oh, there you go. Lads, left my wife for a Dark Fruit. Was it worth it? I mean, you're a TGF fan, so you know it's got to be worth it if you're a TGF fan. And they're local YouTubers to me, so hey, it's all cool.
Oh. Favorite Fourth Doctor Series 9 individual cover. These were quite good, I think, overall. Let me just refresh my memory of them.
Have a look. I quite like Purgatory 12, but it's not my favourite story.
That's my least favourite story, but it's definitely high up there as a cover. Either that or Chase the Night, I'd say. Yeah.
Or do you want to go for Planet of Witches because it's got Hot Dodo on?
Oh yeah, that's a nice cover. It's also a very good cover.
Yeah. Forwards on each Doctor Chronicles cover.
Let's load up the Doctor Chronicles.
I'd say 12th Doctor Chronicle is probably the best one of the bunch.
I quite like 11th Doctor Chronicles Volume 1, actually. That's my favourite of the bunch. Volume 2, that is a weird cover for me.
Which for the 11th Doctor Chronicles?
Yeah. I mean, it's the only Volume 2 cover we've got.
Sorry, I'm having a brain fart.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's sort of strange having Series 7 Matt Smith, and I'm like, oh, it's not a well-known publicity photo. So I'm like, oh, that's fresh and exciting.
Yeah, but it's just a bit of a weird picture of him. I don't.
It's a side
It's a bit
view,
of a
isn't it,
mess.
really?
Yeah, it's a bit of a messy cover for me.
It's and then you've got the weird sort of well, not weird, but like the little mouse on there.
Oh no,
Is it
that's
mouse?
adorable. It's
Yeah,
more the weird head thing on a robot that's a bit
yeah.
baffling to me. And then the TARDIS is sort of like awkwardly posed back there.
Well, the TARDIS, I think, is the same as one on the 12th Doctor, like the 11th Doctor Chronicles and 12th Doctor TARDIS. Yeah, they use the same TARDIS, don't they, for those covers? I'm brain farting.
Yeah.
I'm malfunctioning.
Well, it was the same prop though, wasn't it? So.
Oh, well, it was a lighter blue.
Oh no. Well, you could just get away with saying it's the shade around it, the shadows and stuff.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the 12th Doctor Time Jacked cover will be like.
It's got to be Series 10 Capaldi. Got to be. So that's good.
Yeah, that's what we like to see.
Absolutely. Then 9th Doctor Chronicles, I just think that's pretty simple.
Did you know Nick Briggs was meant to do both 10th and 11th Doctor Chronicles box set? That's quite the alternative universe. Yeah, he stepped aside for that. He admitted his flaws and said, "Nah, Jacob Douglas could do it."
I mean,
and
I listened.
He did.
I've listened to his Matt Smith, and yeah, not good.
Oh no.
I
remember what you were saying about at the time how they should get Trevor Baxter to do.
Yeah, this is a really good one.
Yeah.
Is Tulloch not the alien from Blood Tide who, spoiler, created the human race all by accident? He seems like a pretty major. I've completely forgot about Tulloch from Blood Tide. And that's one of my first big finish. See, that's the thing. I'm terrible with names. Cause it's audio as well, so you don't have like the visual. I'm gonna have a check actually. Because Blood Tide is around my ear somewhere. There it is.
Was the squatting Cyberman on Return of the Cybermen ever explained? Does it need an explanation? Can't it just exist? Can't it just vibe with
leg day, innit?
Yeah. I think because I don't know, where did that come from?
Was it just climbing out of like the
the cocoon must be, or maybe like climbing out of the sewers.
Or getting attacked by the X-ray machine. Yeah, Tulloch is in Blood Tide.
Because certainly you see some posed like that in Tomb of the Cybermen, but when they're putting down the Cybermats on the Cybermats on the runway, it's all that similar thing. But obviously it's a different design, so it's not. But yeah, who knows? Just let it live. It's not hurting anyone. Just leave it to enjoy life.
Speaking of hurting anyone, thoughts on Dimension in Time? Have you watched it the way it was intended in 3D? No, I've not watched it in 3D, but I've watched Dimension in Time.
I watched it once. I can't say I'll be going back anytime soon.
Madam, what year is this? That's the only good thing to come out of it, the meme. But it's all right. You've got that weird Pertwee that weird person doubling his Pertwee to the helicopter. It scares me, man.
Have you seen the weird Lady Christina 1 individual covers that were in the style of the original cover? Yeah, I can't really remember them. I remember what they looked like, as in style-wise, but not as what they are.
Imagine how scary a buff Frobisher would be. Wouldn't it be like the penguin from Wallace and Gromit? That would be quite cool.
He's a shapeshifter, so he can make himself look buff if he wanted to.
He could go to the gym and all that.
There. Favorite new documentary in a collection release aside from Terrence and me? I don't know. Could I say just Behind the Sofa in general?
Can I say the Doctor Who cookbook?
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. Have you seen that?
I don't think I have still, actually. I need to
Get on it.
That's
Get on it.
season 23, isn't it?
Yeah, get on that. That's good. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones. Like I'd say anything like the making ofs from like season 19 were great. Anything like Davison's cracking. But I'm sure there's a good one on season 14. I'm really missing out. Oh, our Sarah Jane's a good one.
Yeah.
But you've got to be in the mood to watch that because I don't want to be an emotional mess.
I really want to go back to Churchill Years 2 since I never got past the first story. By the way, Mr. TARDIS described the alternative universe Churchill story has me intrigued. Oh yeah, I saw him out on Twitter talking about that. I think.
About Churchill being hypnotized by the Doctor Who theme.
Yeah,
that was at it.
Yeah, I think that's a reference to.
I've not picked.
I could live without that set, really.
Yeah, it's not what I'm gravitating towards. Mr. Bon Cactus, wicked. How do I see myself on the stream? There you go. You're on the stream. What is this wicked technology? I don't know. It's StreamYard's little built-in feature. What I thought I'd play around with tonight. But there we go.
Is it? Yeah. So this is the first time you've used it, isn't it?
Pretty much on one of these.
Yeah, because I didn't notice it until about halfway through when we were so probably about an hour into the stream because I was like reading the chat as it was going.
There we go.
Yeah, so I did. I'm afraid I haven't been looking at you as much. I'm sorry.
Scandalous. Thoughts on the Sixth Doctor and Perry box set as a whole, and as a story by story basis, same for Wicked Sister and Seventh Doctor New Adventures. Oh my goodness, we're getting the questions tonight.
Yeah, you haven't finished that set still, have you?
I've not finished with Sixth Doctor and Perry, no.
Yeah. Sixth Doctor and Perry, I'd say it's an alright set overall. I think it was one we were waiting for so long, and then when it finally came out, it was a bit too late. It just didn't live up to the hype. Headless ones, I really enjoy. Like, I Could Take or Leave. I can't remember the title of the third story, but that is my absolute favorite. I really
Vanity Trap.
Vanity Trap.
That's one I've listened to.
Yeah,
that's why I know the title.
Yeah, I told you to for reasons that you know. Yeah, that is brilliant. And then Conflict Theory, it's an alright ending. It's got some funny moments in, but overall, I just feel like the Sixth Doctor and Perry stuff after, like, that first trilogy was really good, but now it seems to have lost direction. Like, they've brought back older Perry then, and then obviously shifted away from that as they wanted to start new things after 201. But then they've come back to Perry without much direction for where they want to go with her.
Yeah.
And like a lot of it feels like it could easily be younger Perry. But yeah, Wicked Sisters and Seventh Doctor New Adventures. We like Wicked Sisters here, don't we?
Yeah, Wicked Sisters is. It sort of surprised me that it's its own little mini series. It's not a standalone. They all flow into one.
I don't. The middle one's my favourite Santaran one.
I was just going to say it reminds me of the middle in a way, in a weird, strange way.
Yeah, especially the first episode.
You've got a lovely, wholesome moment with the Fifth Doctor and Leela having an ice cream together. That's worth the price of the box set alone. And then Seventh Doctor box set, I would say that's quite an underrated box set, to be honest. That's one I definitely do defend.
Yeah. I hope we get another one. We need more Chris and Roz.
Because Trial of a Time Machine, that's a really good exploration of the Doctor and the TARDIS dynamic. And then I think Vanguard was the weakest of the bunch from memory.
I think I quite like that one, but yeah, I think overall it's a very good set.
I think you've got the Jowbri countdown, which I think's great. That sort of World War II espionage, and good story for Roz having that love interest, isn't it? Or Chris? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it's Chris.
Chris. And then The Dread of Night
think-
is your quintessential Seventh Doctor story.
Yeah, I think that's the first bit of proper good transgender representation, isn't it? The Jabari countdown.
Yeah.
I mean, there might have been more before that, but yeah, certainly seems to be...
That's a notable one, yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts on the Seven Ace and Mel arc with hindsight? I've only heard Life of Crime, but I thought it was great. And it
Can I leave?
Finish audio, so I'm forever grateful to it. We are not as big a fans. There's a couple of stories we like the Silurian Candidate. I think that one, you rate that one as well, don't you?
Yeah, and Red Planets, I rate.
Yeah. Red Planets, no, I don't rate as much. More because you've got like those two story arcs going on with Ace and then the Mel and the Doctor. And then the whole Mel and the Doctor story arc comes up to revealing that Ace needs to do what she's been trying to do all along.
It's weird.
That is yeah. But yeah, overall, it's weird that we haven't seen that continued. Because that's I'm worried that's going to be like the Perry stuff as well, and we're just not. When it comes back, it's going to have even less direction than it currently has.
Yeah, I feel like it's sort of done really, and I can't. It's not a sort of thing I want to go back and revisit. To be honest,
no,
it's sort of one thing I'm like, yeah, it happened, great.
I hope they seem to have found a bit more of a groove with the Seventh Doctor now, with things like the Displaced and the Grey Man of the Mountains. So hopefully, if they do go back to it, it'll have more of that style to it rather than whatever it has going on before.
Would you like to see more stories from Rick Briggs? He did a few releases a few years back. Seems like he'd confused things a lot behind the scenes. Yeah.
I think he won the competition, didn't he? And there was that joke about has Nick just entered his own competition and chose himself to win under a very poor pseudonym? Because he did one of the Red Lodge and other stories, and then also did a 4-parter, but I can't remember which.
He did the Akron Pulse, I think. Sixth Doctor. It's that sort of middle story of the one what has Vienna in the Burning Prince, Akron Pulse, and whatever the Vienna one was.
Yeah, I know which one you mean.
Is it Shadowheart? I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. What's better, Nick Briggs' Eccleston impression or Matt Smith's Eccleston impression from Nightmare in Silver? I can't even remember Matt Smith's Eccleston impression. I'm
gonna say Matt Smith because it's not a meme, so it must have some credibility to it.
Ever so slightly.
Do you think we'll get Sixth Doctor and Perry Volume 2? I think that's most likely going to happen at some point.
I think we'll definitely continue on with older Perry at some point, maybe another 5 years. But I'm worried that they might just stick it in a separate thing, just confuse things even more. Just because they want to have their fresh restart, doesn't they? So they seem to be scrapping all ongoing volumes.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way. Thoughts on each Series 6 story since you're such a big fan, Luke, in particular?
I wouldn't go that far.
You dug yourself a hole now.
Yeah, I just said I preferred it to Series 7, and obviously you, Stylish One, really love Series 7. So you think if I think something's even better than that, then it must be the pinnacle of storytelling. I think maybe we'll save that for another time if we do go back to revisit that properly.
Yeah, we've been thinking about doing a series, so maybe that could be. Maybe I'll do a poll and we'll decide what series we'll get.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going on Moffat series. So
definitely be a Moffat one. I don't think it'll be Series 5. I think it's going to be between Series 8, 6, and 7 probably.
Yeah, and 9. I'd say 6 to 9.
I feel like we've covered 9 quite a bit though.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I feel like because we were very active in Series 9 with like Whovian High Council and stuff, so I feel like we are pretty content with Series 9.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
What was wrong with Lady Christina's neck on the original cover? I have no idea. It's like she had a scarf that was flesh.
Oh, that's a different type of monster. Do you think the Daleks Among Us cliffhanger will ever be resolved? No, I don't think so, sadly. As much as I enjoyed Daleks Among Us, which might be a bit of a hot take, I don't think we're going to see Will Arrowsmith for quite some time, and don't think we're going to see them ever
What
again.
was the cliffhanger?
It's not really a spoiler because it hasn't been resolved. It's basically the Seventh Doctor getting Klein and Will Arrowsmith out of prison, and they're being chased, and that's basically the cliffhanger, really. I think.
Oh.
Yeah, from memory.
Yeah, because Klein's turned up again. So
yeah,
is that? Yeah, I suppose is that firmly set after? It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a weird trilogy that didn't seem to go down too well.
Yeah, sadly, it's weird that the male companions like Thomas Brewston, they just don't seem to click with like the Big Finish audience, really, do they?
Mark did though, thankfully.
Yes, thankfully.
Will you be listening to The Harvest on a day it's set later this year? Oh, that's an interesting fact, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I don't. It's weird. The Harvest's a weird one because I listened to it for the first time. I didn't like it, and I listened to it for a couple of years, and I was like, "Oh, this is all right." So maybe I should revisit it again. Yeah, yeah, might revisit that one to celebrate the anniversary of The Harvest.
Yeah, it's sort of similar to how we try our best to revisit Better Watch Out and Fairy Tale of Salzburg. Yeah, on Krampus night.
Yeah, that's a good one. Quick question: what base is Brum? Are you talking about Pertwee Brum as my little icon? Yeah, I don't know what base Pertwee Brum is, to be honest. It's just a thing I found on the internet. What was a meme on our little chat, and I've decided to make it a little
immortalize it.
Immortalize it there. Yeah. There we go.
Have you seen that very meme-filled Sylvester McCoy video someone paid him to do? No.
Oh, when he says poggers.
Oh, yes, I have seen that one, actually.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Delightful. Wholesome.
Thoughts on Unit Dominion? I've got a little video coming up about that, so I'm not going to say anything on that.
And I haven't listened to it, so I can't.
There we go. We're not tier listing Unit just yet. Favorite type of biscuit?
Ooh.
What's a biscuit? What takes you fancy?
I do like a chocolate digestive.
Oh, you're a plain and simple man. You're plain and simple man.
What about you?
I like my biscuits. I've got a sweet tooth. Do like a jammy Dodger. They're pretty nice. Not because of the 11th Doctor. They're pretty standard biscuits. But I do like the Viennese biscuits.
Oh really nice.
Yeah, them. That's it for me.
Yeah,
like
shortbread's
yes. Like I mean, this is going to be very specific, but like Sainsbury's shortbread. Chef kiss.
I don't know if I think I must have had that. Yeah. Certainly, like some shortbread. Like shortbread seems to come in like a wide variety, doesn't it? Like not just in terms of shapes, but like texture and taste. Like I don't like it too crunchy.
I mean, M&S do nice shortbread. What I only get at Christmas because I'm not posh. Yeah. It's like a little treat, I guess. But like Sainsbury's are king of shortbread because they do like little Scotty dog ones with like chocolate chips and like butterscotch, and so you get a nice variety of shortbread in Sainsbury's. So if you like shortbread, go to Sainsbury's.
There we go.
That's what to take away from tonight.
Yeah, a bit of more stronger buttery taste, but not too overpowering buttery. If you know.
Oh yeah, you want all the butter. You want all the cholesterol.
Yeah, that's what we like in our shortbread.
Oh yeah, I want to have a heart attack and have that risk.
Yeah, like what? I think is it Walkers as well. Is that like what?
I don't like. Yeah,
Like
the
you
thin
more think of
shortbread
the
are crap.
crisp. Oh yeah, not the thin ones, but I think they do quite nice thick ones.
Oh, you like it thick?
Oh dear.
Blimey.
Well,
Goodness gracious me.
that's probably more than you were expecting there, stylish one.
There we go. We've got your answer there. We've been specific.
Thank you for the interesting question.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe more Sixth Doctor and Jamie stories. I'd like that because they work well together, but also it feels like it's something they've done. So I'm not sure if I'd like them to pick up on that again.
I sort of feel content because I feel like that trilogy or quadrilogy, because you've got the Companion Chronicle as well.
And they went back to it with Last of the Cybermen as well.
Which is a completely different ball game because that's the Locum Doctors trilogy, isn't it? But I feel like you could only tell that story once.
Yeah. I feel maybe one way I wouldn't say no is if it was older Perry and get Jamie in there as well, like the real Jamie. I think that would be an interesting way to do it, perhaps.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, because obviously that was like the trio in Two Doctors for the most part,
which will work quite well. And yeah, they've done older Jamie in the comics actually as well. Yeah.
I think that I'd be down for that. But yeah, at the same time, it is something that has been done. So I don't. But yeah, certainly no more just Sixth Doctor and Jamie. But if they could get it with Perry, especially older Perry, just to give that a bit more direction, I'd let that slide. And I think Colin likes having a team now, doesn't he? Like he likes his Flip and Constance. He likes having them both of them. So give him Jamie and Perry together.
Right, whereabouts are we in the old chat?
Land of Fiction.
Land of Fiction. What would you most like? What would you most like to get out of a Big Finish spin-off? Personally, I'd say a Land of Fiction spin-off continuing on from Legends of the Cybermen, get Fraser Hines and Georgia Moffat and co back. But yeah, I enjoyed City of Spies, so I'd definitely be down to explore more of the Land of Fiction and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know if it's got much legs to it, but we'll see.
I think maybe that going back to the Land of Fiction is something that could work in another spin-off, like Diary of River Song, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done that for the second Doctor, where they could meet, really.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Maybe they'll do that eventually, because they've got to do a second Doctor set eventually now that we're going back with the third.
Gotta love how Big Finish website lists Georgia Tennant and Georgia Moffat as two separate people.
Oh, yeah. That's a odd one, isn't it?
That's a fun one.
Just how technology is limited.
Rufus Hound in the Land of Fiction spin-off. It's not my dream, it's a nightmare.
Oh, dear. Yeah, maybe Missy Series 4 can be that.
Yeah, maybe that'd be interesting.
Would you like to see more of Garandel? He's a tow person who appeared in Black and White, Starlight, Robbery, and Jenny Stolen Goods.
He's the weird sort of con artist frog. I'm not a particular fan of him, so I'd take it or leave it for me personally.
It sounds like a knockoff. What's it? Is it
Dog Bolter?
Dog Bolter, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, give me Dog Bolter instead.
Oh God, not the Harvest, says Mr. Bonk Cactus.
Not,
it's
getting
not late.
It's getting late.
Gives me nightmares of Rags.
Rags is nightmarish. Alex McQueen should return. He's my favorite master, and I'd absolutely love more of him. Another hot take there, but hey, you know what? Whatever.
Might not be my favorite master, but yes, I definitely want more of him. He is amazing.
It's masterful. It was glorious having him back.
Yeah, he was probably the return I was most excited for.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Would you like to see optional colorization of 60 stories on Blu-rays? No.
I wouldn't. Some of them I wouldn't say no to, but
depends on the story. Like Celestial Toymaker, if it was found, and Marco Polo, yes.
Yeah, I think it's not necessary. I suppose maybe that could be like for one story per set or something, like similar to the special effects. Like, so obviously it's optional, so it's not taking away anything from the original. But yeah, overall, it's not something I'd choose to put on there. But if it was put on there, I'd give it a watch just out of curiosity.
Would you like to see Big Finish remake some of their early covers?
Yes, but I doubt they would even more so now, just because they're very stingy with their covers. Like, we're not getting individual cover art, so
I think if it was for like a collection, that would be nice. But
yeah,
that's about it, really.
I could make, like, we talked about this with the 8th Doctor Adventure Series 1 and 2. I could see them like collecting them together as 2 separate collections you could buy with a new cover and download only.
That would be nice.
Oh, rank worst to best: Morrison, Sainsbury's, Asda, and Tesco. Are we talking just shortbread here, or ranking the whole shop?
I mean, this is tricky.
I'm not a fan of Tesco shortbread.
Yeah, Tesco is probably the weak one.
This is going to be a hot take. Lidl shortbread isn't that bad.
All right, okay.
It's good cheap value, but it's also pretty good for what it is.
I mean, Aldi do a good steamed ginger biscuit, which is nice.
Oh.
It's got a piece of like actual ginger in, and I like that. Well, we're welcome to the biscuit podcast, everyone.
Yeah, that should be our next tier list biscuits.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
There's actually, I'm gonna have a look, see if this one.
Maybe we can do like a fun live stream in like December and just do wacky stuff.
Yeah,
and just have like a chill chat.
Christmas as well. That's perfect for biscuits.
Yeah, we can be your biscuit connoisseurs.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. I found a biscuit tier list.
We can do that off stream. Now rank Sainsbury's and Asda, Tesco, and Morrison's as supermarkets overall. I don't rate Tesco. I think Tesco is expensive.
Yeah, I feel like there's a Tesco right by me I can walk to. So often that's one I more go to just out of convenience, really. But it's just location. It's not like out of choice. Morrison's, there's one nowhere near me. I feel like I'm too far down south for Morrison's to be a regular site.
Oh, I like Morrison's. No. Like this was turned into like a food like chat.
Yeah, what has happened?
So I'm like, yeah, Morrison's do these good like king prawn habanero things. They're really nice.
Wow.
They're pretty cool, and they do like really good desserts. So if you like sweet stuff, Morrison's do good like sundaes and cream cakes and whatever. There we go.
Yeah. I do like my Waitrose cheesecakes.
Oh, you Tory. You go to Waitrose.
Well, I hope I'll bump into Tom Baker one day.
I mean, you are down south, so you could meet Tom. Oh yeah. But yeah.
What else? Have you finished Game of Thrones yet, Ben? Game of Thrones or Doctor Who theme?
I've not finished Game of Thrones. Well, there was a sort of thing trending on Twitter about the Game of Thrones theme, and it was on like the most iconic TV theme tunes. Doctor Who wasn't on there. Like Game of Thrones was on that list. Like, which Doctor Who theme we talking about?
It was an American one, because I suppose that's the other thing, isn't it? Because the Doctor Who theme changes so often. Like, there's a recognizable basic version, but it's got so many variations.
Yeah, it's like if we're like, what Doctor Who theme we talking, then I can gauge of which one. Because I do like the Game of Thrones one because it's catchy as hell.
I would like a Doctor Who theme to do something more like Game of Thrones or like more of those American shows where it's like that slower intro music.
I've seen a really good remix, and I was tempted to use it for like the Big Finish collection of like the Game of Thrones and Doctor Who theme mixed together. And I was like, this works really well.
Yeah, like we need just a bit of a slower paced intro. I feel just something, freshen things up a bit. I think I saw a Loki mix with Doctor Who theme actually.
Your favorite Doctor Who theme against Game of Thrones? I've got to pick Doctor Who, hasn't it? Because it's iconic and it's my favorite show.
Mm.
But Game of Thrones is what a good theme tune is. It's catchy and it's iconic. But yeah, I can't betray Doctor Who.
No. Ooh. Favorite color? Rank all the colors from stylish.
Gosh, we're here all night.
Oh dear.
We're doing primary, secondary colors. I think
I do
blue
like
is
a
my
good
favorite.
beige.
All right, Davison.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. There we go. Whereabouts are we in the old chat? Actually, finally, Thoughts on the Locum Doctor trilogy with hindsight.
We wanted to go back to that at some point, didn't we?
Yeah. Whether that be in like a standard review pre-recorded, or were we thinking of doing like a main range tier list or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think when we first talked about it, this was like before we even got onto the tier list, wasn't it? So when we were just doing reviews. So, well, I'm sure we'll come back to that idea because I would like to re-listen to that. So we'll hold off on that, I think.
Missing the Land of Fiction seems obvious. Should fit right in. It'll be brilliantly mad.
Yeah. I swear, there's always seems to be something going on with that already, with like that book where she's the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz. I mean, I've not picked it up at all, so I can't comment on it.
And then she's also already Mary Poppins in a way as well. So
yeah. Throw in Rufus Hound and it will be instant pre-order for me. No, not for me, pal. Sorry.
Tesco white bread is top tier.
I can't comment on Tesco's bread.
Oh dear.
All right.
Mr. Bonkcracker has already done his own biscuit tier list.
Hey, gotta love a good biscuit. You know, what's the best biscuit for a Dunkin'? What's the best Dunker biscuit for like a cup?
I think a shortbread, really.
Oh, back to the old shortbread. You big old chunky shortbread.
Well, I mean, you know, a chocolate digestive, it's just a bit awkward. Round biscuits are just a bit awkward, Dunkin' in general, because you're always worried they're going to slip.
Well, digestive is just no hope. No hope for that biscuit because you can't get it in the cup, and then you put it in, and it's just gone. You're like, oh, it's just.
Oh, I like the rich tea fingers that I made specifically for Dunkin'.
Oh, okay, all right. A weird combo for me is like a coffee and a custard cream. That works surprisingly well. I don't know, but I just like that custard cream and a coffee.
I think I've done a custard cream and tea before.
I mean, that's a standard one. That's a Jodie one.
Yeah.
Oh, funny how far we've gone from Hinchcliffe to food. Yeah,
it really is.
But yeah, I think Mr. Stylish one, it has to be rich tea for Dunkin'. That's a good traditional biscuit. Can't go wrong with that. But I think that draws us to a close.
Yeah, and Stylish one keeps trying to say bye, but we keep drawing him back with discussions of biscuits. So,
Atlas 11. If you didn't see Brum based off Austin 7 Chimney, I don't know what Brum's based off. To be honest, it's a car. It's
based off of car.
A car, Lightning McQueen.
Oh no! Ka-chow.
And that's one way to end the live stream. Right, so thank you everyone for joining us as we descend into the madness of biscuits and what's the best supermarket here in the UK. If you've joined us for the whole thing,
are you all right?
Are you all right? You need to check into an institute. Stylish one, thank you so much for all the questions. It's been lovely having all these questions, and it's been great talking to you.
Thank you for your entertaining comments as well, Mr. Bonkcracker. It's always great having you both here.
And I hope you find your Hoover. And anybody who's posted a question in the chat, we appreciate it. And we'll see you very soon for the next one.
I think. Do we know what we're doing next week? I can't know.
It could be the Third Doctor one, or it could be it all depends what we do.
Because we're pre-recording Third Doctor, so but we'll see.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we're also waiting for Mark, the Lost Stories, the Lost Resort and Other Stories.
Yeah,
to come out, and then we'll be doing a Mark tier list of all his stories when we have that.
I mean, if not, it could be another Fourth Doctor tier list where we do all of the Fourth Doctor Adventures series 1 to 10. So that'll be a long old night. So stick around for that.
Yeah, we have plans aplenty. They're
Yeah,
all
we've got like
a-brewing.
a little. We've got a little schedule. We've got animations coming up to celebrate Evil of the
Yeah.
Daleks, so we've got you covered. We've got tier lists coming out of
Yeah.
everywhere, really.
Third Doctor, River Song, next month, Dalek Universe as well. Lots still to come.
And probably more shenanigans in December where we can talk about biscuits and
Yeah.
what's the best supermarket out there.
There we go.
Stylish one. We're the unofficial Big Finish fans members. You're members. You're members.
Yeah.
You're all part of the club.
Yeah, you're here like regularly.
Yeah, you're basically part of the channel at this point. You're part of the furniture.
Yeah, I don't think you've missed the live stream, have you, Stylish one?
No.
I think
He's committed, so
yeah,
should get like a little badge, little badges for that. Really.
Yeah,
I think that's in like channel memberships if people pay to.
Yeah, I think you
support
have
the
to pay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to force. Well, it's your channel. You get to decide whether you want to force Stylish one to pay for the privilege.
They don't need. No, they don't need to. Just liking and subscribing is enough.
How much does a packet of shortbread cost from Sainsbury's?
I think it's £1.50. I think.
There you go. Have membership £1.50.
£1.50.
Your supply of shortbread.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, get the super chats in. Help us buy shortbread. Fund our shortbread addiction, and we can do streams like comparing shortbread and find the ultimate shortbread. That could be a fun stream. Have like all the different shortbreads from like.
Have like a blind taste of them.
Yeah,
and you have to work out which.
Yeah, and then do like a tier list.
Okay,
there we go. Right, before we descend into even more madness, thank you everyone.
Thank you all.
We appreciate all the support, and we'll see you very soon.
Goodbye.